And we are at 6. Thanks, everybody. In order to make our meetings more efficient, we are limiting public comment to the beginning of the meeting, the public to be heard section. Select board meetings are in the public, not of the public. There will occasionally be agenda items where we will ask for public comment. Today we'll be asking for public comment on the Skunk Hollow speed study and on the town reports issue. Please do not use the chat on Zoom for anything other than technical issues. Like, hey, I can't get off mute, I can't raise my hand, because it's distracting. So with that, public to be heard, and so this is for anything other than that what's on anything on the agenda other than the Skunk Hollow Road speed study and the town report, or things that are not on the agenda.
What
that you'd
about
like
the
to bring up.
Nashville Road?
The corner of Nashville Road.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming the people that are here as part of the MOU will get to, but I'm not looking for other
Right,
public comment
right.
about
Oh,
that.
okay,
Yeah,
okay, that should be clear.
yeah. Public to be heard. There.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
Just please
Start off
state your name.
My name is Riley Glantz. I can stand,
You stand, you sit, come up.
but kind of like I'm on a podium. I can't understand. I just wanted to ask the procedures just so that I can go about doing this correctly. So my fault on my end for not paying better attention. But I wanted to know what the procedures would be that I would need to go about to have the speed bumps that were placed on Brown's Trace Road removed. I have some serious safety concerns and issues with them. I live right there, a law-abiding citizen, and it has become a major inconvenience for me abiding the law and doing the right thing. And it's something that's been placed in my way that I foresee as an obstacle. So I would like to know what I need to do as a concerned citizen to be able to have those removed. Like I said, my fault for not paying attention a little bit closer. I saw speed studies come out, saw things come across. I'm all for safer roads, not for this. So that's what I'm just here to ask. What do I need to do? What are my options? What are my?
So,
I love this guy.
me too.
Got some sense.
You would make a request to the board to consider removing them. It is something that the board talked about at length. We received a lot of input through a gentleman in the center who compiled tons and tons of data, presented us with tons and tons of options. We added some money to the budget as part of the last budget cycle to address speeding concerns in general.
Good. Saw all that, read all that.
Yes. And so that
Fantastic with all
was
that.
something that the board chose to do as a result of those discussions. How to get them gone, I guess. I don't know exactly how to answer that, but coming to the board, sharing your concerns is a way to start.
Can I add to that, his comments? What, can I add to that? My name's Brett Dale. I also live on Brown's Trace. There's a study that was done in September. And I don't see in there speed bumps as a suggestion. So I'm wondering how we got to that point.
It's in the language of one of the effective things. They recommended some of the other things because they felt that was much more economical. But turns out these were actually the most economical way of doing the speed. But if you read the whole, not just the recommendations, but what the state of Vermont AOT recommends for vertical displacement, that's one of the recommended ones of doing it, and this road qualifies for vertical displacement.
Vertical displacement, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, they had I think it was about 10 or 20 suggestions in here, and that wasn't one of them in here. So
It's in the wording, you could read it, it's not in the recommendations, but it is in the language.
Okay.
No, it wasn't a recommendation. It was a piece of language that was pulled out and used instead of the recommendations. Okay, I'll have to,
It's what we chose to do based on the study, the reports and what we have to do.
And in the economics. Because
And yeah, I mean, that's part of what went into it.
Oh,
Absolutely.
sorry, question.
You guys don't need to stand up. It just.
Yeah. What is the speed rating of the speed bumps? Because they seem a lot, they seem to be a lot, you have to go a lot slower than 20.
You gotta stop.
Yeah.
you can do 20.
I don't know the answer to that. I think
It
might depend on your vehicle.
not hauling a trailer, not a bus, not a, I
Yeah.
watched the Vermont gas truck almost lose it the other day. And that scares the tick out of me.
Other towns have used it for over 3 years and not had, I mean, the people seem to adjust. And so, sort of, public safety fees.
They do come up in the winter.
If we had security guards standing at the front of our schools frisking all of our kids as they went in because we were worried about weapons, people might seem to adjust too. But there's the totalitarian rule part where you gotta look at what point are your law-abiding citizens now being affected because of those that aren't.
Any comments?
All right, so
I'm just curious about in the winter, can the plow? Can you state your name?
Yeah, please raise your hand to be heard, and 3 minutes per amendment to
all
say.
right, so my things are, just make my concerns, come make a presentation in front of the board and ask for removal.
Yep, and you can always reach out to Paula and say, hey, I'd like to get on the agenda.
Okay.
And you can send her some stuff and whatever. And that's a great way to, in public to be heard, we can't do a ton of back and forth because we didn't warn it. People don't know it's on the agenda. They weren't prepared and all that.
That's why I'm asking,
Yeah.
what are my options? What should I do?
Yep, thank you for your comments.
No, my question, I just have a question about in the winter.
And your name?
I mean, Roberta Dumas, I live on Leary Road.
Okay,
I'm just curious about snowplows in the winter. Can they go over those bumps?
they come up in the winter. They're
Oh,
temporary.
okay,
Yep.
okay.
Thank you.
I have a question around you said the gas truck.
Oh, yeah,
Can you tell me like how they almost lose it?
sure. I was following the Vermont gas truck the other day as it came through, I followed them all the way up from Barber Farm. Came to the first speed bump, watched the sign in front of him. He slowed down to 10 miles an hour, went over, came around, went over the second bump at 10 miles an hour, and then mustn't have expected a third bump or must have been paying attention to something. And we were at 20 miles an hour. And as he went over the back of the bump, the back of his truck went up in the air, off to the side and came back down because it was a giant heavy truck with materials and stuff like that. Had a ladder on top that I watched vibrate. I backed off a ton because I was expecting the ladder actually to come off the back of the truck. So it just scared the tick out of me, and I couldn't imagine what was the back of that truck looked like after that. So.
Robin Bartlett. I don't think there was much thought to the process of this thing. First of all, I had to go to Waterbury Saturday, and that's the first time I've been up through there for quite a while. And I was going 10 miles an hour. And it just beat the hell out of the front of my truck. That is total bull crap. So what these things are, anybody that's traveling Brown's Trace every day, plan on replacing your struts and springs and at least once a year, because that's just beating the hell out of everybody's car. Plus, we've got hundreds of thousands of dollars tied up in our town trucks and equipment. These big heavy trucks. If these guys aren't coming to a complete stop and easing over these things, they're totally beating up those trucks. Those are very stiff springs in the front of those. To me, it's just a brain dead deal. Now, if we can get along without them in the wintertime, what the hell are we getting for in the summertime? Why don't we just put three more sets of stop signs? I mean, you're aggravating everybody anyway. At least that way, everybody's gonna stop. You're gonna be aggravated, but at least you aren't gonna be beating the hell out of their car. So, I'm with this fellow here. I think they should disappear, and it's a total waste of our tax dollars. It's really bugged me to see our tax dollars being spent on something that's stupid. Also, this speed thing in Jericho Center has been going on for 30 years. Apparently, these people over there think that everybody else is living on Easy Street, but that's not the case. I live on the other end of Brown's Trace. I've got cars, I got the same traffic problem, you got cars, the whole deal in the morning and then the whole deal at night. Some of them are driving 30, 40, even 50. Who cares? You got good visibility all the way through there. You got every road in Jericho, dirt road. A lot of them with not good visibility. 35 miles an hour, the same speed limit as on a paved road that has good visibility. Now, I don't know. Like I say, I don't know if these people over there think that everybody else is living on Easy Street, but you got all these people up on Route 15 here, houses are close to the road. They have to deal with this traffic every day. I do. It just kind of bugs me. This has been going on. We've been getting, Catherine, people have been complaining in Jericho Center for 30 freaking years. You just can't, I don't think they're gonna be happy until we all stop at the fire station, shut our car out, get out and push it through Jericho Center. Just so they don't get upset. Wouldn't it be just easier to tell these people, if the traffic's bugging you, get some shades, pull them down so you can't even see the traffic.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Appreciate it. Other public to be heard? Online?
Question, so
Your
there's,
name?
Tucker Andrews. I know there's a number of people here who are interested in the Nashville Leary Road flooding question that are not named in the MOU. If they want a chance to speak at the meeting,
It's fine.
okay,
It's fine.
they don't have to say it now.
But I'm assuming that they're like the people that came the first time, right? Like,
No, there's a few more.
all right, well then public to be heard is your time, I guess, if you're not in the MOU.
I guess that's for anyone who has an opinion on what's happening on Leary Road now, right now, and what the town's involvement should be. Now is the time that you can share.
I guess I need to hear what the plan is first.
Yeah.
I don't know what my comment is.
I can make a general comment. I'm Aaron Villette, I live on Leary Road. And since the storm last year that flooded the road the first time, the road will get flooded and eroded over relatively small rainstorms, maybe a couple inches. And enough that the school bus can go through a couple times this year. And I know that the erosion is on private property, on paths, but it seems like something is impacting a town highway that should be addressed by the town. So yeah, I'm interested to hear what the plan is.
Thank you. Other public to be heard?
I mean, just one more comment.
What is the plan? Are you gonna share that? I mean, I don't even know I'm here because it was shared that this meeting was happening tonight and then it would be discussed, I thought. So what is the plan? What are the thoughts?
That's the next item on the agenda.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I didn't realize.
We're still in public to be heard about,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
all right, gotcha.
I would like to just make a Robin Bartlett. I would expect you folks to be getting some lawsuits out of this stupid ass thing, Jericho Center. Somebody with a motorcycle, like this fellow's talking about these cars being flopped around, and if they don't, because they aren't well marked, you got some stupid sign right beside them, but there's not any markings in the road warning you. And like I say, I was going 10 miles an hour, and that is just nuts. You actually have to stop. So I say, put some stop signs and get rid of those.
Thank you. Okay, first item on the agenda is review and consider approval of an updated MOU from Help for Jericho Residents-Nashville Road, Leary Road, Patrick Road. You have
Yeah, I
a
can give
preamble
you,
for
I
that
can
one?
give you an overview since I've got it here.
Okay.
So the overview right now is, Nashville Road and Leary Road residents came, to the town, because of an event that occurred back in July of 2024. The Millbrook over flooded and flooded some residents, damaging the field that was there and running onto Leary. Back on November, the residents came to a select board meeting to request a letter of support to fill out a federal application. And then on April 17th, they returned to the select board to request assistance for applying for a federal grant. And then on May 2025, we had an MOU agreement that was discussed during that previous select board meeting of what the select board could contribute versus what the residents would have to contribute. And on July 28th, we got contacted stating that the grant can be accepted. However, we didn't have the MOU in place as of yet, so that grant is still on hold. And mind you, I did get an email from the federal grant agency stating that they're closing their books very soon, so I'm not,
I'm sorry, I missed one piece of that. So we got the grant if we get the MOU signed?
yes, our agreement back in April, we agreed to apply for the grant if they were to sign the MOU.
Yep.
And we applied for the grant and still waiting for the MOU to be signed.
And so they had said, yeah, we're good to go. And this is just one last piece is getting that
We
signed.
have to have the MOU in place.
Okay.
Oh, that's not true, actually. You can go ahead and say yes without the MOU in place.
That is, on
That's
April
a stipulation
17th, that was
of
the
the
understanding, yes. On April 17th, the
Just
understanding
clear.
was to sign the MOU before the grant would be approved.
Gotcha.
Can you give me the context as to why the town offered the $5,000 for the grant?
That'd be Eric.
Why did I do that?
Yes.
I'll tell you why, because the event that happened, it was one of the really bad Millbrook floods.
January or July.
July,
Yeah.
Yeah. The way that it impacted the bank also affected the roads and caused our road crew to have to do a lot of things. So I don't remember exactly what the board's thought process was exactly at the time, but kind of the general gist is this work will help us to maintain the roads too, and so we'll get benefit, the town as a whole, not just these residents, will get some amount of benefit, and that felt worth both being willing to sign on to the grant application, which typically has to be a municipality that does that, and then two, to offer some of the help for it. We were pretty clear in the beginning when we were first exploring this that we really did not want to be on the hook for the whole match, whatever that might be. And so then as we did more research, it came up and we're like, well, knowing that we can, based on some of the details of the grant, I think some of the our 5,000 can be in like work. So like we can have work and have that, you know what I mean? It's not just like necessarily a check. It's some of it will be probably, but we can trade off some amount of road crew work and whatever. That's my recollection of how that came about.
So the grant was $50,000. And then the town offered to pay 5,000 and the residents would pay, the total was $12,000. So the residents would pay anything above 5,000 because the town would pay 5,000 of the $12,000.
And not only was, if I'm reading the notes correctly, it was 50,000 and $5,000,
Yeah.
but that is also the quote of the estimation of the work.
Yeah.
And that
Yes.
comes from the EWS people itself.
Okay.
So which residents are you talking about is going to be involved in that? The residents that came to that meeting would be Tucker Andrews, James LaVersa and Wendy Fleury, and the Reeds. That's who was on that agreement.
Are those people that border the brook? That where the land was affected when we had the flood?
I know Tucker's does, but,
Correct.
okay, yeah, okay. So are they the people that are kind of on the hook here for having to pay for this?
Yes.
Okay.
May I come up at this point?
Everything out on the table, so we know what we're talking about.
I don't know if this will be helpful for context.
That's
Just so folks can see where I'm at. For the record, Patrick Reed, resident over on Nashville Road. Thank you for the overview, Paula.
Sure.
Just for context around where we're running into trouble with the MOU. In parts is we left the previous meeting, we get, thinking about the total cost of this is like, okay, we've got the 25% match that we need to meet between the town and the residents. When we got the MOU, there was also language that made sense about requiring 20% of the final bid cost put in essentially escrow to be available if the town needed it, assuming, I assume for cost overruns. And then additionally, we'll need to pay the difference between the grant and the total amount of the project.
So if it goes over.
Or even if the bid doesn't come in at 50,000, like if the bid gets like the 60,000, right, for example. And so some of the stuff we're looking for in, especially in an MOU assignment, like language that says we can say, no, we can't afford it. Because if like the cost of the work comes in such a way that I have to put a lien on my house, I can't afford to do that to fix.
So you're looking for some sort of language that says will not go above X.
At the very least, or even, one thing that didn't come up is back in July, because the town, and you can see some of the pictures, how high this water gets around that intersection. Leary Road had been washing out every time it rained, all spring. We had a very dry summer and fall last year, so we really didn't get exposed to this in our previous conversations. But the town felt it necessary for them to request permission from the state to come in and put a temporary fix in, which has stopped the problem of flooding every time it rains. And it's sort of part of the fix that the engineers described. The big piece missing is really the expansion of the channel capacity so that there won't be quite as much just overbank flooding, which will eventually erode the berm that was put in place, things like that, and which would result in the same problem reoccurring. But it sort of seemed like that showed a clear interest in the town resolving this issue. Because when we started looking at this, like, we have to come up with, like, if this bid were coming at $60,000 to do this work, the basic rough math of that would we need to have as much as almost $30,000 available to put towards this. It's like, well, clearly we have to go to the community for help on that. And so the general sentiment when I sent out an email to the neighbors was like, well, why isn't the town doing more? I was like, well, because the property owners are the only ones coming into these meetings, which is why I think so many people are here now to sort of express support that this isn't an issue of mine and of Tucker's and Jimmy's. It's a community issue that, it's kind of why we are taxpayers in the town to help solve these problems, rather than rely on individuals to solve infrastructure issues. And so I think it begs the question again of like, is this a problem that impacts the town in such a way that it's really the town should be responsible or take responsibility for fixing it, or at the very least, more support in this.
Another question too. It seems like before, I've lived on Leary for 30 years. And I live up past the bridge that's on there, the first bridge. I don't recall before the biggest flood 2 years ago, I don't recall ever seeing water along this, like on the opposite side of the road as you, which would be your side, well, Tucker's side of the road. Yeah, coming down alongside the road to where Nashville and Leary come together. Did that flood change something? Because since then, whenever we have a lot of rain, now we have water in that gully.
Yes.
On that side.
Yeah, so right at the corner there, as the river bend turns, where it has frequently just come up over the bank during flooding, it actually just sort of blew out the whole side of the bank and it created a new channel out.
And that is what the town has since put in a temporary, very substantial temporary berm. That has stopped that short term, and then it's unclear as to how long that will last without the finished remediations that the rest of the plan calls for.
What's the new culvert that was just put in up by the bridge, is that supposed to help mitigate the flow? To make it go down in that direction past Halls?
I think that's a different issue.
Totally different?
Yeah, I think that's a different thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking the new culvert up at the bridge.
At the first bridge?
Yes.
Yeah,
That was just fixing an old culvert.
okay.
Yes. The culvert that they put in down at the intersection last year doesn't do a lot.
No, right.
Yeah,
So are these the cross culverts that were talked about that we were going to do, or that's still going?
They
to
haven't been done yet.
They have not yet been done. Not yet.
Well, it depends what culvert.
yeah, which culvert is that?
Some have been done across
Yeah,
Nashville.
even once one culvert across Nashville has been put in, it's still even over over capacity. That's simply because when you have these high water events on that direction, water's coming in from the wetlands, fills up the other side, but you can't pass water from in between in that fork of Leary and Nashville, because on the other side of Nashville, on the side of the range, it filled with water from the wetlands there.
And what are these other culverts that haven't been done yet?
There's, I believe, one more culvert on Leary Road that will be going in for a FEMA project.
I think they just did it. Is that up?
No, they haven't done it yet.
No, you know where that is.
I'd have to go look at the FEMA paperwork. I don't.
And is it to do with this flooding issue? So I would assume that.
Yeah, it all had to do with the July 24
So,
flooding.
do you know if it goes under Leary or under Nashville?
I think Leary, because that's what the RFP was put out for.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's putting in a culvert to spill it onto my land.
Are you right at the corner?
Yes. Josh Allen.
Okay, did they talk to you?
No one has spoken to me about that.
Okay,
I was curious if that would come up and what rights I have to say no to that.
yeah,
And if we're gonna spend money on that silly Band-Aid, as far as I'm concerned, that still floods Jimmy's house every time, doesn't stop that. And it's the amount of water I see coming over Leary every time that happens. It better be quite a culvert or a series of them.
Yeah, I mean, to Josh's point, the culverts are a countermeasure. The root causes the water comes out.
Yeah, it's why are we putting money into culverts that sort of help mitigate on a medium-sized rain event instead of putting money into fixing the real problem, so it stops coming across and flooding Jimmy's house and washing out Leary Road.
yeah, I think.
And I
you
know
said
that flooding a personal property can't be the problem of the town,
Right,
but unfortunately, he's in the middle of it, but it's what washes out the road.
yeah, and I think that's what this piece is trying to fix, is fix that, stabilize that Millbrook on his land. So we went in and kind of patched it enough where hopefully the water wouldn't run over it,
That
but,
certainly helped with the average rainfalls.
right,
We haven't seen, Pencil Drive, we haven't seen a big storm,
right,
but we know that a big storm, that's not gonna cut it.
yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, I just look at the amount of money that's been spent rebuilding Leary so many times. I don't know what that number is, but it's high. You guys have brought in a lot of material, put a lot of man hours into it. Put in a culvert under Nashville that helps a little on a small storm. And now it sounds like we're gonna be putting tax money into another culvert under Leary to turn my land into I don't know, I guess turn it into wetland. And again, on those big floods, I'd like to see the engineers flow calculations from that stop sign to beyond my house, which has got to be 400 feet plus. That amount of flow that you're going to need serious culverts to take that kind of water. I feel like the town will be putting money into another culvert that will just, the next big storm will just laugh at. Instead of putting that money into fixing the real problem, that's the stream.
Unfortunately, if it's a FEMA project, we have to do it. Is that what she was talking about, that culvert is a FEMA requirement?
You have to do it?
Yeah,
That's what the requirement from the FEMA and the engineers have requested it to be done.
So requested or required? What is required? You say FEMA tells the town where they have to put a culvert?
yeah, I think that's what, I mean, because the FEMA tells you what you have to fix in order to get reimbursements for the work you did to bring back your road. I mean, that's what we I mean, because right now, of course, nobody knows we're ever gonna get any money for FEMA now anyway.
I don't know the specifics, this Gabe Sinekin, but I know that in other FEMA events, in other towns that have been going through these flooding events, there's a lot of back and forth with FEMA over, because their initial position is you replace what was there. And, Waterbury, a lot of towns went through this and
Right.
pushed back with kind of the same argument that he's giving, that you're just gonna be paying it over and over again, as opposed to doing something bigger and potentially fixing it. It might be worth
We've always
asking for.
we've always pushed for higher capacity culverts rather than just the original culvert. We've always put in bigger culverts than requested. So that,
But in this situation, there is no culvert. There's never been a need for a culvert there.
I'm just saying that
As
maybe.
Roberta said, there's never been a need for a culvert there, the water never ran there.
Negotiate with FEMA if that ends up being the issue,
Mhm,
that's all I meant to say.
yeah, because we haven't done that yet.
Just going back to original would be
At least,
putting the brook back the way it used to be before it flooded across this field where it has never flowed before ever.
Right.
Yeah,
I just want to say, the last time it rained, gosh, will rain for this, it flooded between my house and Julia, between 18 Leary and Dubuque's house. The water came across the road, down the side of the road and into my barn driveway. And Josh came and helped mitigate it there for a bit, because it was just
yeah,
flooding.
when they're again up there, a culvert down at the end of Leary Road would do absolutely
Right,
nothing.
but
There's
yeah.
no effect in any way.
I don't know, I've never seen it flood across that part of it.
So what is this grant, supposed to do?
So the residents came to us, I don't remember which of you came and which of you didn't, but a couple of different times people came saying, what can you do to help us with this? We've got a grant, that we'd like to apply for. The minutes are out there, so please feel free to double check me because my memory is getting worse as I get older. That my recollection is they came in, they thought about, they had an idea of a grant that could help help the neighbors fix this little disaster that causes now every single time it rains for that area to get flooded. Mostly private property, but some of the road stuff too, which we already knew we had to own the road stuff.
What does it mean, like?
But, and so they came in and they said, we'd like your help to sign on to apply for this grant, because Joe Schmo can't just go and apply for a grant. You need a town. So we've done a similar thing before. And so we said, yeah, we have a little bit of precedence for this. But I made clear over and over and over and over in that meeting that we were not committing any money. We weren't saying no to any money, but we were not committing any money in that meeting. And that hopefully is very well reflected in the minutes and the recording. And then there was maybe one or two more meetings and we were like, okay, we can apply for the grant. We'd like an MOU that clearly lays out.
What's an MOU?
Meaning, memorandum of understanding. It's a fancy legal document that just says, here's what you're gonna do, here's what I'm gonna do. As long as this other thing happens, this is what our plan is. It's silly, but that is what it is. And so then we got that then we came to that agreement and we said, okay, I know we said that we're not gonna give any money, but we do feel that we could probably help some because there's not too many residents and it's an awful big burden and blah, 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 and some of those other reasons that I said. And so we said, okay, we can do up to whatever we said in this MOU, 5 something. And it seems like now there's a hesitancy to actually sign the MOU that we all agreed we were gonna sign. We were gonna sign the last time we met.
My question is though, what's the $50,000 going to do?
There's a scope of, I don't know particularly the details, but it's gonna, they had an engineer come out, they looked at it, they said, here's what needs to be done, blah, 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 this thing, and it's gonna bring, I don't know.
Is it in short, dredge the brook to turn it into
Dredge
a
the brook
UTV?
and reinforce
not
the
going
bank
anywhere.
again, yeah.
Yes.
And this grant is matched to the amount that that engineer estimated it.
And these
Well-
EWS grants, which is emergency watershed mitigation grants, come from the feds. And they are the ones who provide the engineering services and say that this is what would fix this, this is how much it's going to cost. And so, because it's on private, and it's the only grant that private property owners can access, but it still requires municipality to apply for it. And the key is, as soon as you put a shovel to the ground, you are committed to do it. So all the decisions have to be made to say A or nay before you actually put a shovel in the ground. Because it is private property, the town has to be, cognizant of not taking on too much responsibility, or anybody that has a problem is gonna, wanna have assistance. So we require MOUs, because somebody has to be responsible for the 25% match in order to get that grant. And then with the other 2 situations that we've had this happen with EWS grants, the one was essentially the HOA provided the MOU. And again, there's back and forth stuff, but if the bids come in higher than the engineers expected, there is potential for getting additional funding, but there is no guarantee, and it's harder and harder to secure those guarantees at this point. But they have been, in the EWS people we've worked with have been very good about trying to get the additional funding. But we just can't count on it. But you have to have somebody in the beginning saying, okay, right now it says it's $50,000 or 51,000 something odd and end. And the town, and so it comes out to be 12,400. So the town is going to do 5. That the homeowners are responsible for this 7,400. Now, if it comes in over that, that's when people can say, I don't want to do it.
Well, we would like that written in the MOU.
And
That's one of our main, but basically the MOU creates a blank check scenario where if there are cost overruns, if the bid comes in high, we are liable for it. And we cannot responsibly sign that. So we need that to be addressed, basically.
So is that the only thing we're asking for in the MOU, is to add an addendum or a line that says if it goes over, can we negotiate that right now? Do you want it to be exactly on the dollar? Do you want 5,000 over? Do you want 10,000 over? Well, like, is there
Sounds to me that if the town committed to a percentage versus a dollar amount, would that solve the problem?
The grants have, that's a requirement of 25% for the.
Yes, but we don't know what 25% of what yet.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying is the town has said 5,000. So that's 12%.
And that's because the
11%.
grant is actually for $50,000.
Yes, but if the bid comes in over,
Then you can say no.
or so right now the town is committed to $5,000. That's what, 11%, 12%, right? Half of the 25, so it's 12%, 12.5%. If the town committed to 12.5% of total cost, would that fix I don't know. Right? If they committed to a percentage, then any overage is shared equally at the same rate that we've agreed to put our money in and you put your money in. If it goes way over and you guys only said you'll do $5,000, then we're stuck to the other 10. if you agree to a percentage, as do we. Right, does that, I think,
I'm gonna excuse myself. Thank you for.
Thank you, Robert.
See ya.
Does the MOU spell out who reviews the bids or who accepts the bid? Is that?
Only the town.
Only
Oh,
the
now
town.
it gets up to.
So theoretically, the town accepts a bid for 70 grand and the homeowner say, we're on the hook for.
But we don't know
Yeah.
until it gets signed.
No, if the bids come in and you look at it.
There is no
But the
stipulation.
use
in the town that we even get to look at. So we need to review the bids to say, okay,
so is that the MOU, then is that the wording we need, so that if it comes in over, then the town and the homeowners need to agree?
negotiate.
Or-
terms, maybe.
Or those involved in the MOU also need to sign off on the final bid?
Oh, you can't, the town has to be the one signing.
Well,
You can sign, but we.
we agree,
Involved in the decision making.
yes.
Involved in the decision making.
So at that point, we can say, okay, well, it's higher than we thought, so the town's in for 9,000 now, and you guys are in for, 8,500 or whatever the numbers are, and then we can choose to go with that or not.
I think also an important thought here is, like, we have this great opportunity to fix the brook. The town, even if they pay $5,000, that's nothing. And we haven't even accounted for engineering costs for this project, which is 100% covered. So if we step back and look at the total cost of it, it's probably around $75,000, including all the engineering and stuff that goes into this. So $5,000 and $75,000 is like a great deal to fix Leary Road, so even if it's $8,500, why not a great deal? I feel like if we can get to yes here somehow tonight, sign this thing and get rolling, it would be great. And
I think for the dollar amounts you're talking about, you're gonna blow through that in 2 or 3 washout repairs on the road.
Oh, God, yeah,
Right?
that's, so I'd love to
It's
see
silly. Yeah.
what we put into that road already.
and the
It's more
thing
than
is
5,000.
that only a resident can bring this project to the town. The town can't seek this out by themselves because it's private property. So us being here is an opportunity for the town to fix Leary Road. If we didn't, if we weren't here, that money would not exist. So, $8,500 or whatever, great. But I appreciate that it sets a precedent. However,
I think
it's
it's
a very
dangerous
precedent, but
It's a-
Leary
we're gonna
Road
have
is,
floods.
it's
It's
in
Leary
danger.
Road, it's not the homeowner, it's not the property.
Right.
It's out of our right of way.
Yeah, I'm not
It's not
asking
in
you
our right
to
of way,
clean all of
it's-
Leary Road off my
we have a
property.
lot
That's
of
laying there now.
land in Jericho that is on a brook. My parents in that same flood got, I have no idea,
Oh, yeah.
$15,000 worth of damage.
But none of these repairs.
And
do
yeah, none of
anything
these
to the
repairs are on
homeowner's
my, fixing my property. This is,
Right, I'm
Protecting the
talking
road.
about
It's gonna help Jimmy a lot.
and
But
that's
that's
what
just the
I'm trying to
byproduct of
speak to.
it.
yeah.
Is the precedent is goes both ways. We like the idea of helping you. The problem that I'm having is, let me first clear one thing up. When do we have to accept the grant file?
They are closing their books, I believe.
Be September 30th.
I would think it would be the
I think
first, because that would be the beginning of the quarter would be September 1st.
Yeah.
So it would be next week.
But if
Unless
you're
it's the
thinking about,
federal
on the-
calendar ends on the 30th.
is it the end of the fiscal year,
Yeah.
which would be September 30th.
So I don't see how we can do it. If they won't sign,
And
that means they have to send us a new one. We'll have to assemble another select board meeting between now and September 1st, which I, maybe 3 of us can pull together and maybe vote one way or the other, but I don't see how we pulled this off.
yeah, I guess now that we're saying more and more, we're not asking to help anyone's personal property at all. This is a way to fix the Leary Road issue. In no way, as a byproduct of fixing Leary, some of us homeowners we won't be flooded anymore, but it's the Leary Road washing out that this is the proper best fix for that. It's what this.
I haven't
project is.
heard that. I know, I understand, right, we get a lot of claims that come in here and I like to use our engineering resources and it's not just me, the whole board, but like,
Have any other
fixes for this Leary Road washing out been proposed? It sounds like one culvert.
Every time this has been brought up, it has been focused on the homeowner's land. And it seems like you guys are trying to twist it now and saying that you guys are paying for us to fix it. But I don't like that.
I've been saying since the beginning that this is likely to impact Leary, but there was no evidence because it didn't rain last summer and fall after the flooding. It didn't start to rain again until the spring, and it was within months of that that the town felt the need to come in and put something temporary in. What we've been saying was likely to be true has proven out that this is a problem for both the town and residents, of which we are members of and taxpayers of.
I know me personally, and in speaking to these guys over this year, more than a year, at no point did we on our approach to town to fix our personal property. We're like, hey, this is destroying the road over and over and over again. And that's why some of these folks are here who their property is nowhere near the flood, but they deal with the washout road. This is all about the road, otherwise we wouldn't be, my goal, and none that I've heard, is to get the town to fix our land. I don't want my tax dollars fixing personal property either. Stopping our land from getting flooded is just a happy byproduct of the proper fix for the road washout.
Is it possible, I'm new to this, to say we have $75,000 to the contractor? Do what you can?
No,
50.
No.
we don't have 75,000.
That's.
It's a 75% federal, 25% of town.
Yes,
The,
yeah, the total cost.
Right now, the grant is for 50,000, so.
Total.
Total.
And that's not the total cost of the project though.
But
Yes,
that's what
it
they're
Oh, it
anticipating.
is.
That's what their anticipated thing. That's why the town said $5,000.
Okay, okay.
I mean,
That's right.
it's possible. If that's all they're talking about, is we could do, since we have the opportunity to say no.
Right, what I would love to do if we had time would
I was
be to
gonna say-
have them, I'm sick of us writing the MOU that you guys don't like. So what I'd like is for you to send us the MOU and we can look at it and then we can be like, yes or no.
I was
But
gonna say, adjust
now
the-
we're out of time.
I was going to suggest we just adjust the MOU to.
We'd have to do it in real time.
You could do we have the structure, you have the MOU right here, you're just gonna change. Instead, because they're concerned about the bid. That we could agree to, if the select board is amenable, we could agree to the 10%, because that's what we're paying now, would be 5,000, and they're 7,500 essentially, which is 15%. And then if it comes in significantly over, then we have to really think about it.
The wording is.
I don't know how you word that, right? So
Yeah.
because like you said, the town has to accept the bid or not. We're
When it
gonna,
comes in, you don't have to accept that, I mean,
right, but we might accept it and be like, all right, it's only another $3,000 for us, but it's another blah, blah, blah for that, right? Like that's
Yeah, 'cause it would be-
that's the concern. Like I
Is that
feel like you guys need to get us an MOU for us to
I sent
consider.
a revised MOU to Paula.
You guys
Do we have one? And you have it written the way you'd like us to sign
I
it?
just edited it because I assume your lawyer was gonna look at it anyway, but never made it to that person.
No, it did.
Oh,
it
it's all
Well, maybe
whereas
we do have a
stuff.
revised.
Oh,
Yeah,
No, they
They
got
have
you
a lot of purple in there.
revised, yeah.
it's this purple. It's their adjusted. So we'd have to talk about it, and then you're right, it'd have to be a special meeting and everything before the first.
If we have it, we can do it. It's gonna take us all night, but.
Well, I think we would want to do the rest of the agenda. And then.
Yeah, the reason that you're sensing my frustration is because we were so clear that we didn't want to add any money, and it just really feels like we got the whole way there. We're actually gonna get the grant, and now it just feels like you guys are, just feels like you just played me. I feel like I got played. I feel like I got played by.
I don't know, like, so to be fair, like, one of the reasons I did not come in stronger saying I think the town needs to take a larger part in this before is because there was no actual evidence that what I was saying was going to be true. And as a person, as the property owner this is happening on, like, I'm obviously biased and have an opinion, which is sort of the reason we asked all these other folks who shared with me that they also felt that it should not necessarily fall upon individual home, property owners to be solving this for the town to be here today, so that it would show that, like, this is not me as a biased property owner saying, hey, do this for me. Like, this is my neighbors and, you know, community members, fellow taxpayers saying like, hey, we agree actually that we don't think this is entirely your responsibility. You should be on the hook the way you are. It's like, I'm not trying to, this has been a source of such anxiety for me over the last year. That like every time it rained and I watched the water go down and flood my neighbors, and I'm like, oh, is there gonna flood it? Like, I have not been able to sleep for the last week, knowing I was gonna have to come up here. Like, this is, I'm not trying to play anyone. This is just something that's too big for us to handle as individuals. Like, it's like, I don't know what to do. I can't fix it. Like, I'm not trying to play game. I don't want my neighbors to be flooded. I don't want there to be safety issues with the road. We're just trying to do the best we can to try to get resources for the town. We talked to so many different organizations about where can we get funding for this, and basically everyone told us like, I really can't. This EWS program was the only one.
Right.
And so, I'm sorry that you feel it, and I understand why you feel that way. Like, I get it. But like that, it was not our intent. That's not what we're trying to do.
Okay, well,
Amy,
it's
I
behind us now.
think a way that we could get to yes here is $5,000. If that's what the town can do, like, that's great. But we do need an out.
Yeah.
Like, we need an out. We need some transparency around the bidding so we can say no. That's all, that's really all we need. Because if it comes in at 50, we can put together $7,500. That's no problem. But if it comes in at 70 and we don't know until it gets checked off on, and then, oh, there's $10,000 in overruns. Like, that's a lot of money.
Right.
Yeah, and
So, but right now,
He keeps raising his hand. Can I go to him? Sir, I forget your name.
One of the concerns I had was, we see a copy of the MOU, but it really didn't answer the questions that we were mulling around and that Tucker, you know, had tried to address, and we never saw anything different. Now, the other thing for people who don't realize is the grant's not really for $50,000. The grant's for $37,000. And the rest of that $50,000 is being made up by the homeowners and the $5,000 here. Now, if it comes in, there was some language in the MOU about putting additional money in escrow above that $7,500 commitment. And it's like,
I thought we removed that.
well, we haven't seen a
We
revised.
didn't ask, I specifically remember talking about, we did not require anything up front from the neighbors. Like,
Right.
I remember even correcting that minute,
Mhm.
so I know that's in there.
That's
Now,
what
memorizing the MOU itself, I'm not as.
So must be a revised version of the MOU. Have you seen it?
If I've seen one that had that out, I did not catch that was removed.
seen that.
Yeah.
So maybe we're talking about different MOUs. One was never shared with us.
Yeah,
Every MOU did get shared. And that I know. So I can confirm the emails. And the MOU, I know we were going back and forth with that, saying, take that out, which we did. I'm looking at the MOU now and I don't see anything about that in here.
About escrow account for
I
whatever.
don't see that, but I
There's an
was
escrow.
looking.
You must have a different version than the one that I edited, because
Cause I know we went back and forth, I believe it was you and I that went back and forth, and I sent it back to the attorney to have her take that out.
yeah, because the one that Tucker, you know, this is when it says, you know, to secure the contribution to the project, they shall deposit with the town or its designated escrow agent its estimated contribution at the time of the execution of this agreement.
Right, what number is that?
That was number 8 on the purple one. One with the purple. Because the, you know, we got the original, which it's even, you know, more strict. But it's very close to what Bittersweet has. And then there was the Tucker one, those are the only two that I have.
It does still say the SPL number 8.
On number 8.
Yeah, but that's
There's
all.
also no timeline for when that would be returned.
Right.
It was just a sloppy legal document. It was just irresponsible for us to say.
Yeah,
And I
it felt
submitted
like,
my edits before last select board meeting, but we didn't get on the agenda. We got kicked to this.
But I had, based on one of our other agreements. You simply do the surety bond. Because that's what we did for the other one until it was time to collect money. Because they had to deposit a security instrument in the amount of, in this case, be $7,524.
All right, I'm just asking, Catherine, I have a question to ask you, and this is just a technicality legal thing. Could we, as a board, assign the power of the board to a board member and say that board, if we all agree, if we, like we do some sort of motion that says we give, I'll pick on Amy. We give Amy for this particular contract, the ability to negotiate based on this general spirit, and then we have to put some trust in her and blah, 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 right? We've done that with other legal matters that aren't necessarily in the public. Like, can we do that to so that we can rework this thing and get it so it kind of legally gets to where we need to be and still get it done by September without having to do another meeting?
I would be concerned because it requires funding. And it's 5,000 or more. I mean, Paula could work with, because Paula,
I mean,
back and
with
forth.
all due respect, the one that you gave me for negotiating the similar road off of Nashville Road was $50,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it didn't really seem like the right way to do it. I'm trying to figure out how we get to one that we can all sign and we don't lose the grant. The whole point is the grant.
Right.
We're gonna lose it, right?
Did we confirm as the date September 1st or September 30th?
We did not confirm. We think it's probably the September 1st, so we need to confirm the date.
Educated guesses.
Yeah.
I would think it'd be the 30th, because if they're closing out their books, that the fiscal year ends on the 30th of September.
So it gives you a lot more, 30 days more. But yeah.
So we could have another select board meeting before that, or two. But if it's the first, then, if we need to do.
Come on, board. We have 5 members now. You're all, hopefully all smarter than me. I'm not coming up with much of what to do here.
I mean, the only thing we could do is, we have the basic form in front of us. If you do need the surety bond of some sort. But.
So could we do some sort of motion that includes enough of the details that we get them to give some sort of verbal agreement that they'll assign to? Right, like we go, okay, we're gonna remove the
Escrow.
the escrow we can already remove. That's
Right.
in the minutes. We can prove that. That
Right.
can be gone. We can
Right.
defend that. I promise you that will be out of the next one, okay? I can't believe it's still in there,
Yeah.
whatever. It's
And then
my fault for missing it. The
Well, the-
other thing is what? The other
could
thing
do-
is the.
They want to write a refusal.
they
Right,
want-
yes. Yes,
Yeah.
and that,
make sure we know we're committing
when
to.
that would be
the
number
costs of the
9.
Project once you actually get a bid from a contractor to do the work.
Okay, but so
That's number 9 on this purple one, so we could just kind of rejigger the language. Because that's where they have to do the extra if there isn't.
So can we pass a motion to say, if those are the only things, we agree to add those things into the contract and send it to you guys as it's completed this week? Does that work?
I mean,
that's what I think we can do. I think we can
do that.
come to an agreement that we lay out the structural things that change. We have Paula send you another one. And you sign it immediately, and then she'll call us and be like, all right, you guys gotta be back in here sometime before the 1st, and we'll all come in and sign it. If we all, I'm not putting it on them to agree. I'm saying that's the procedural way to do it, that
Right.
I think could be legal. I'm not
Yeah.
telling them they need to sign it by any means. I'm saying, but if we agree here,
Mhm.
and as long as nothing significantly changes in that MOU, like Paul throws in like something crazy, then, whatever. But does that make sense? Does that work for you guys? Does it work for you guys?
The other question that I was reading in the purple was that they were questioning the liability of $1 million, but that's what we required of Bittersweet. I mean,
So what does that mean? The liability, we're asking them to hold a bond or a insurance policy?
insurance
Rider on the
policy.
insurance policy, or so I didn't
Do
understand.
we buy
It's not
that?
the contract.
No, that's
They
the
do.
They have to do
contractor has to have.
It's
Right, which is standard.
Yeah.
They do or the
Very
contract?
standard.
They do.
So we're just saying we're not gonna wreck you, somebody who doesn't know what
But,
they're doing.
but the MOU is written so that
Yeah,
the
but
homeowner.
that was required of
Yeah.
Bittersweet as well.
So when we did
I
Bittersweet,
never
you're saying
heard of
they went and got an insurance policy?
Yes, they had to prove they maintain homeowners or general liability in the amount of not less than $1 million per household.
That doesn't apply necessarily.
But that's what Bittersweet had to sign off.
They would only really be accessing through one
Yeah,
property.
that's on the contractor. That, all
But
that.
they have to have insurance too, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody does. I mean, this is just to protect,
Yeah, I guess that, I had asked that question, I don't think I ever got an answer, like what that covers. I actually thought I had read today, I got a response from Paula saying you folks were carrying a certificate of insurance, not the homeowner. But I was just asking, I may be getting now some of these questions, because I was unclear what the $1 million homeowner policy was covering in this scenario, that the.
I'd rather, I understand we did it for Bittersweet. I'd rather take that out and just say contractor has to have liability insurance.
oh,
I
they.
mean, I have homeowner insurance. Yeah.
So can we just take it, so
Remove 10.
I think we need a running list so somebody can make a motion. I'll do that. So what was the first bullet I said?
8.
Pretty sure I laid all this out. on my
Take out
list.
So 8 is coming out. I don't think we need, 8's the one I don't think we need to do because we did it already.
Oh, yeah.
I hate redoing work.
Right.
And then 9, we need to reword that because it does say escrow funds.
Right.
We were talking about,
Remove escrow funds.
9 is what you have to rewrite it to suggest a right of refusal.
right,
So that's all in 9.
Yeah, that's a 9.
Oh, hold on.
Because
Rewrite.
the escrow is number 8, that goes, but
Right,
this one,
refusal.
this is an additional escrow.
Well, after bid has been received, something like that. And I,
Once the bid
once
is,
bid has been received and I would then put in something like in the town get their 5,000, would also receive refunded, anything that's an escrow would be refunded, they're not, they're
we
not
wouldn't,
running.
so we wouldn't,
no escrow.
we wouldn't have paid anything because we haven't accepted, yep, we're okay there,
And
okay.
then 10, you're taking out 10.
And what? I don't have it. in front of
Property
me.
owner.
That is the homeowners and general
Homeowners.
liability insurance, $1 million.
For 1 million.
Now, the key is they are responsible for permits. The homeowners.
What permits?
I think the EWP program covers permitting.
Right. But I know that
Let's do it at night. Oh.
Bittersweet had to do
Space.
because they were working with, they were doing significant work with the stream bed, and they had to, get the state.
Oh, like
permits.
wastewater, like you're not
No.
having town permits. you're-
No, we're talking state.
State, like
Work in a
state-
stream. Work in a stream.
Yeah,
work in a
yeah,
stream.
yeah,
And the homeowners had to do that.
Okay.
Well,
We can.
Is that already in the MOU?
Yes,
that
it
is
is.
the MOU. Yeah.
It was just
Although,
purple.
just to let you know, we have not gotten any traction with the watershed engineer at all. I can't get him on the phone, email. I just cannot get in touch with this guy. So
Okay.
I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
Overworked.
I know,
I'm trying to,
there was a nice,
I'm
there was a
trying to
fellow
keep this
that's
as
been
simple
here
as
forever.
possible because my
That
brain
was
is not.
the EWS guy,
picking
he
up
was
the whole
very helpful
stuff.
for all kinds of people.
I think it's,
But it's a
that
good
we're
list.
responsible for chasing that down, and we may have to work with EWS to try to get Fritz or whatever his name is to get something, but I don't see a problem with us doing it.
Okay, right now the goal is to get this MOU to a
that's fine.
point where we're all good. So what I have is 9, we're gonna remove the escrowed funds. There's a portion of it in 9 that you're saying is in there. We do not require you to escrow anything.
Okay.
Because if we don't get the grant, we're not, like, you
Yeah.
don't need to worry about that.
Okay.
We do require you to pay the whatever. Okay.
Yep.
So we're gonna rewrite to include the right of refusal once the bid has been received.
And
That's
at
it,
that
that's all
point-
in section 9.
And if we do
Section-
accept it, that's when they have to give the money. Because they
Does
have,
9 not already say that?
9 says, the property owner shall within 1 week after the contractor is selected.
Okay, so that's covered. We don't need to change that.
Right.
We've got that, the. Okay,
only it has to, right now, it's it says 20%, it's 25% in this particular grant.
So I think that language about asking for within 1 week, the bid, that's talking about the escrow 20%. The MOU asks for our contribution of the 25% at the time of signing.
oh, okay.
Yeah, currently.
Yeah, I did.
So we just do.
You don't have to do that.
Because you're not doing escrow to start, so after the bid,
So we would pay ours whatever
25%.
amount at the time of the bid being accepted and contracted. Okay.
so that 20%.
Assuming that's how the grant works, right? They don't just write us a check for
Right, no.
35, right? They'll wait until we actually have, yeah, okay.
So that's why
And
you
it-
need to
so-
make
and
the 20, the 25, because that's when it's happened, as opposed to 20. Make sure we have the right number.
Okay, so what exactly do we need to change and what?
it's not gonna be escrowed, so it just says after the instrument, I crossed it out. Instrument in the amount of 20%, it should be 25%.
Right, yeah.
And that's.
Because we're not, because you take out the words deposit with the town,
Receipt.
additional escrowed funds, we're just putting, because that's not there, it's gone. We're just, you want the,
Change 25 to change 20 to 25 in section 9.
yeah, you get either additional escrow funds or surety instrument, that goes away. It's just escrow or surety instruments in the form of 25%.
Okay,
Does that make everybody happy? Yeah, does that,
And yeah, the only question in my mind is still cost overruns. And I don't know a lot about requests for proposals or. stuff like
They
that.
have to meet the bid, you get on these things, there is not to be cost overruns.
Okay, that's what I was hoping you were gonna say, yeah.
They're supposed to, the bid is the bid kind of thing, unless you start doing change orders.
Well, it's in the language of the bid,
Yeah.
whether there's no overruns or
Well, that's
in,
what I was-
Okay.
yes, it'll be in the bid.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that'll be part of your refusal, because it's that
Okay,
they can go, they can overrun.
Great, love that.
okay, so based on the changes that we've heard, and assuming it comes in the way that it does,
Mhm.
you guys are good?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
now you gotta convince the new ladies, because they weren't here for the first one. Okay,
Is
So
there
in this-
language in there about overruns though? I don't.
recall.
There's nothing in the
It was
warranty
not
about
called that.
overruns.
But again, it would have to be in the statement of work from whoever is gonna be performing that, they would have a section would say, and if there isn't, then I would highly recommend for anyone looking at that bid to say there should be a section about overruns, but, yeah. But I
We
understand.
put that,
I don't want it in MOU. Let's keep the MOU as simple as we can, like, it's all about the bid, like, we want the
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, we want.
If we don't get the money, none of the other stuff matters.
And you have the right to refuse the bid, so the
Yeah.
bid, if you don't like the overrun language of the bid, you have the right to say
Well,
no.
if we can look at the bid, that'd be great. I just thought we'd.
We'll look at the bid, but
Yeah, I
well-
assume we just look at a number,
Yeah.
but so we wouldn't know if there were overruns allowed or not.
Well,
But I
it'll be-
assume you're
it'll be
operating
part of the
on that
proposal.
here, So,
Yeah, because the total approved budget is $51,223.16. I mean, that's what
yeah,
the feds approved.
great. I love that.
okay, I'm gonna make a rare change of more habit. I'm gonna actually make the motion this time, just to save everybody.
Okay.
I make a motion that we update the current MOU to remove section 8. And in section 9, remove the language around escrowed funds. Rewrite it to include a right of refusal once a bid has been received. And change the 20% to 25%. All of that is in section 9. In section 10, we're gonna remove the requirement for homeowners insurance for $1 million.
I second the motion.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We will get you an MOU
Probably Monday.
Monday.
And do change the spelling and stuff, the other corrections.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you will have it signed Monday at 4 minutes later than, no, I might read it, but like, let's not lose this grant over this thing.
Having the right to refuse, then
Yeah.
certainly takes the pressure off the signing of the, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we each come in to sign at some point that.
Billy Moss, yeah.
Very good.
I
Thank you
think
very much.
between I think that all 5 members can be in before September 1st to get it signed. And I think like we can probably accept a grant before they actually see our signatures, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. Thank you for your patience
Thank
with
you.
that.
Thank you for your
Thank
support.
you, thank you. Yeah.
All right, that it? Meeting over. All right, we've got like another agenda item.
Yeah, that's right.
See what this, as I'm sharing.
Oh, I haven't. I'm sorry. Yeah, I do see that.
Well done, Eric, you got us to it.
Si, you're up.
Oh,
Sorry.
I know public meetings, they can go longer.
Hey, that
Well, at least-
thing could have been 2 minutes or it could have gone on a whole nother hour. You never know.
I mean, the other thing is, I mean, given what we're talking about, the other folks they're concerned about speed are gone.
I know. I know, I probably should have flipped them, but oh well.
All right.
They'll be back.
They'll be back. Oh, yeah, they'll be back.
Right. Oh, I didn't already say that.
No.
Next on the agenda is to review and accept the Skunk Hollow Road speed study and traffic calming by Sarah Polly.
Oh, more speed.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, absolutely.
CRPC.
Yeah.
Come on up, Si. He's gonna give an overview of,
Sure,
and I've got this pulled up, so I think,
yeah, I got it.
okay, perfect.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Sai Sarpalli, Senior Transportation Planning Engineer at Jericho County Regional Planning Commission. So we got a request from the town to investigate, speeding and some safety issues on, Skunk Hollow Road between Route 117 and Plains Road intersection. As part of the study, we installed automatic traffic counter at one location on this road segment. So there are certain criteria to set up these traffic counters, and we have to pick the location to meet those criteria. Like, we cannot have a counter on a curve or near an intersection or driveway. So it was really challenging on Skunk Hollow Road because there are some, the road topography, as well as there are some residences and driveways on Skunk Hollow. So we got a chance to install one ATR, and we collected speed and volume data on Skunk Hollow Road at that location. And we noticed 86th percentile speed at this location was around 42 miles per hour. And you see table 1, it shows 10 miles per hour pace speed, which is between 36 and 45 miles per hour. And you can see almost 79% or 80% of motorists are falling in that range. So
Can you pause there? I got really confused over what a 10-mile-per-hour pace speed is.
So that's where, so the 10 mile per hour speed, base speed is the bin where it takes the maximum volume, that falls in that bin. So that's what it is.
So you have bins of speeds that are delineated by 10 miles per hour? Like 35 to 40, 45 to 55?
Yes, yeah, so if you see, the last, we have five mile per hour bans actually. In the, data,
Okay, so the 10 miles per hour doesn't mean much other than the way you sort the data?
yes,
Okay, thank you.
and also it means like, a lot of, the postal speed limit is 35 on Skunk Road, and we are looking like, 42, which is like what, 7 miles per hour more than the postal speed limit, and it is very common for motorists to drive at least 5 miles per hour, right? So.
Yeah, so it says average speed, so that's just the total aggregate of the whole, every single car averaged out.
Yes, that's like,
now.
50.
But 85th percentile is
So
at 42?
Yeah, 85th percentile is the speed at least, the 85% of motorists are traveling at that speed or below that speed. 85th percentile,
At 42 or below.
yes, at 42 or below.
Yeah, that's because most people know the police aren't gonna
That's
stop you.
worded really weird.
Yes, it is.
That's a really weird way to wrote. I would have never got that from there, but.
But that's because most people drive 40 because they know that the police aren't gonna stop them for 5 miles over the
Right.
speed limit,
Yeah.
because they're not gonna prosecute.
Yeah.
But some people actually go 35.
I guess
Yeah.
the percentile should have given me the reason to believe that was the high end. Okay, I get it. All right, I'm good. Go ahead.
So.
I have a question first.
Sure.
Did you look at our, let's see, I forget when we paved Skunk Hollow, quite a few years ago. But we did a speed study shortly, that we did it a year after, because we said, if the speed increased too much, we'd have to go back in and put on more speed tables. And it seemed to me, that it was 42, 43, 85th percentile then. And I just wondered
Of
if.
course you remember that. That's what I said too.
So I just wondered if you actually had seen the original work way back when to see if, because to confirm, I guess I could go back in my records, but that's what I recalled. It was 42, 43, and I thought, wow, that's pretty good. That, it's still within that range.
Yeah, there's always like, this is the 85th percentile speed, as I said, that means 85% of the drivers, not 100%, right? So there might be some outliers.
Sure, 15% of them.
Yeah,
would go higher.
50% are going higher.
Yeah, I get you.
Right. So, yeah, so I drove the road and I noticed some, tree humps as well as, median islands, on this road, which I think will really, the traffic calming measures on Skunk Road, especially, the median island, which it actually deviates or diverts the vehicles away from main, travel lane, which, make them to slow down. And also, speed humps, those are really nice, like, they are not very sharp or like, what I mean by sharp, they don't have like vertical profile a lot, but they have like a nice, like parabolic profile, spread out, so, and also I noticed, it has a, advisory speed limit sign. It's an advisory speed, so that's the safer speed to navigate over those speed humps. So, I noticed that that speed sign is located only on one pole, and it's missing another pole on the other side. So I noticed the same thing on both locations. So I think I made that
It's only
recommendation.
facing one direction.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So that picture right there, we should like, install what we want for our advisory speed sign. That was missing on the other pole, so that's why I made a recommendation to install that. And then other traffic calming measures, like, speed reduction markings, which are table markings, along inside of a white line and yellow line. but these speed reduction markings are effective when the road has a horizontal curvature. So if we install these before getting to the curve, so that people get the impression that they're speeding. And then, it's a safety improvement. So like, when they're driving through these pavement marking, they get the feeling like they're speeding. And once they get to the curve, they slow down. If they don't slow down, the curve actually is can be dangerous for motorists. If they're going above the speed limit. So this is a kind of like a safety measure for people to slow down. Another thing I recommended, adding an additional median island. In the implementation plan, there's a map, yeah, thanks, Paula. So this one shows like, a couple of locations for new median islands. On Skunk Road, where, we have those side streets and in the residential neighborhood. And then I think I recommended one more speed table in this section.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you, I'll get it right. You recommended quite a few vertical solutions. I know we've been asked in the past when I was on the other side of the table, if there were opportunities to add either in sidewalks or bike lanes to Skunk Hollow. Would a horizontal, and you mentioned in here that horizontal can also do the same sort of traffic calming measures.
Right.
In your opinion, it was something like that not suggested because of cost, or why were these your recommendations over some of the other things that you listed?
So these are like feasible options, but if you have to go for a sidewalk along the road, then we need to do more investigation. Like we don't know the right of way, and we need to do more investigation on what's the what do you call the entrance of the road looks like. Are there any drainage ditches or any cuts? So we need to do more work on those things, and then it's a very it might be an expensive option for the town, but that's a totally different case study. Like if there is a necessity for bike and pet facility on this road, then you can do it as a scoping study, which is a totally different study. So then we will do more investigation, do a survey of archaeological resources in this area, or what's the like I said, is there any wetlands, or if there are any drainage ditches on this road, and banks and cuts and all those things.
These are your lowest hanging fruit.
Yeah, these are kind of short term, low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
And these are more effective in reducing at least 3 to 5 miles per hour, speed.
So it goes back to, I think, maybe what Eric was questioning earlier with the 85th percentile. So 85% of motorists are within 7 miles of the speed limit. This is what, 40,
So
43 of them?
85% of motorists are driving either at 42 or below. So it could be 30, 35, all those motorists.
So they're within 7 miles an hour of speeding. So
Right, yeah.
Speed limit.
is that a problem? Like,
Like what prompted the concern or the study?
that does not seem like a problem to me. So I'm asking as a professional on a 35-mile-an-hour road, is that within the average you would expect?
Right. So for 35 miles per hour, this is pretty common. Wherever, in other areas also you can see similar speeds. If it's 35, you would at least see 40. 85% of would be at least 40. So here we are looking at 42, 43. So it's not a significant concern, but as I said, these are all the recommendations. So the town can pick and choose if they want to do maybe 1 or 2, and then they can add those and see how that works. And
What benefit would you see if you got your laundry list and we did all of these things, what would be your expectation of reduction in speed?
So I would say probably the 85th percentile would be somewhere around 40, 38 to 40.
So we lose 2 to 3 miles an hour speed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, because, people might slow down at speed table and at the median island, and then they might get to the straight segment, and then they're gonna speed up again. So when you take the whole average, you would probably see the same thing. But, it depends on the perception, of the.
The places where you're allowed to put the things may not change as much because of where you're limited and where you can put them, I get that.
Right.
Here, I live on Plains Road.
Yeah, it was interesting, because when we did the studies to do the unpaved section of Skunk Hollow, the engineer, the median islands are the most effective in slowing down traffic. But, and that's why I wondered whether there was enough room for the other ones, because they added all the speed tables instead of the median islands because of the right of way issues. And I just wondered if we still had enough right of way for the new median islands, because they are the most effective. And then, but with the speed tables, theoretically, he said to be the most effective for speed tables, you need 3 in a row. Like 1, 2, 3, real close to each other. And we went, and each one had to have its signs, and everybody went, oh, that's just too much eye clutter. So that's why I asked about the speed study, because after we paved the road and just did the one, we said if there was an increase in speed, then we would have to reconsider what we had done, just need to change it, because you don't want it to go above the 42, 43. But it turned out all we did was even it out. Because the gravel road, they got a little faster.
Yeah.
Because it was now paved. Because this is a road that had 2 paved sections and a gravel in the middle. And so I mean, it's kind of cool that, because I like the median islands.
Yeah, median islands, you can, it depends on design, you can design different ways. One can be just like a pavement marking in the median island, and some median islands, depending on the available right of way, you can have like a narrow median island.
That's why we have the very skinny ones we.
Yeah. Or you can have a wider one, 2 feet, 2.5, 3 feet wide.
They sound expensive. Sorry to say, they are cool looking, and I like going to more urban kind of towns that have them. They're kind of cool. I don't know that we need more of them on Skunk Hollow.
Yeah, there's one landowner who was willing to give up his land had he known about it, but I'm not sure if that's exactly where the median islands are.
So Amy hit the question that I had when I was reading through exactly, like, did you make recommendations because that's your job to make recommendations? Or did you look at this data and say, wow, they really need this stuff, right? Like, is there like a severity, like, because I agree, I'm like, at most 85% of people, according to the data, which of course is limited by whatever it is, I would read that and go, yeah, I wouldn't change anything. But again, I'm not a traffic study guy. I get it. So
so I look at the traffic, and then I thought that that's the town's intention to address the traffic, the speeding. It's not, this would be like a low cost, like speed tables. So you can just do only one speed table, and you don't have to do the.
sure, but I guess what I'm getting at is, do you look at this and go, wow, they've got a problem there? Or do you look at it and go, they're pretty good?
That's
what I'm looking at.
I said, I think I said, if you go if you like check other roads, like with 35 miles per hour, you would see at least 40 miles per hour, 80% speed at.
So we're not abnormal.
No, you're not
Right in
abnormal
the
or-
same realm as other towns, yeah.
Right.
Can I ask a question?
What did I say? Did I allow this one? I think I did. I did. Yes, please.
It's the 15% that I'm curious about, like, how fast are they going? Those are the people that are gonna kill somebody. I'm one of the people that lives in a part of town that has these.
We're not talking about those right now.
Oh, I love the idea of the tables, but anyway, it's the 15% that worries me. That's, you know, it is scary to be really close to that road. I know that there was a kid of the prior owner of my house who was killed on that section of town.
Skunk Hollow.
No, on Brown's Trace. I mean, it is a parent's nightmare to have, you know, and now suddenly Brown's Trace has all these little kids in it again, which is wonderful, but it brings back that sense of fear. And so, but I don't worry about the people who are going, you know, who are the 85%. It's the 15%ers who are gonna kill somebody or kill a dog or whatever it is. And so that is I wonder to what extent the recommendations address them, or is there just like, anyway, that's my question is. Like,
That's a great question.
Right, and this recommendations, like, you know, so probably the 85% speed would reduce, and then the number of people that fall in the 85% increases because of these recommendations, like, you know, with the speed table and median island, people who are driving, like, you know, let's say 47, right? They might come down to 43 or 42, so they will fall in that 85% speed. So that the volume will reduce, but you still see some people going beyond that range. But the number might be less, but you still see some people.
Which of these mitigation suggestions deal with the top end? The few that are going 60 instead of the most that are going under 42?
Yeah.
Like which ones do you think deal with that the best?
I would say speed table. Speed tables would deal with that high speed, 60, like, you know, 50 people who are doing that, yeah. That would reduce at least, like, you know, 10 miles.
Thank you.
It's not like you have to like make a decision tonight, but
Right.
it's good information to have and make that.
We just have to.
We just want to be real
Yeah.
careful about things we're approving, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But other people love those little wackos.
We're talking about Skunk Hollow.
No one's gonna follow.
yes,
All we have to do is approve, accept.
Accept the report. No, yeah. I understand.
yeah, I was gonna raise my hand for Brown's Trail, but then I restrained myself.
Good job. Good job. Good job.
That's probably smart.
Actually, I drove that road because of use of permit, and I took go on a stack road, and then I drove Brown's Trace, and I got stuck, and I got there like, oh, this is beautiful. So yeah, it was a really like, I didn't know it because like a couple of weeks back, or maybe last month, I was here.
Driving through there.
Yeah, I was right there, and then there's a speed bump. Okay. Yeah, but they're rubberized speed bump, like, as you mentioned, Chair. They are, you can take them off in winter. However, like, you know, there are different designs available in those, like in the terms of vertical profile. So these are, if you know, I mean, they come in different varieties. Some of them are wider, so that, you know, you get a little bit higher speed on those. Some are narrower, which have vertical lift, so, you know, people go slower on those. The one thing I was gonna mention, like, you know, it says speed on the sign, but it doesn't give any advisory speed limit, or the advisory speed.
Well, that would be
That's a
smart.
good- that's a
Is there one in the center?
And some, I
You know,
in the center?
in Bronx, yeah, in Bronx. No, not at the store, but the new ones.
Yeah,
The new ones.
yeah, because I was driving, as I drive over a lot, living from where I do have to come through Brown Trace a lot, but, the person in front of me, literally, it was a low slung car. Looked kind of speedy, but I watched that car just slow right down and just practically stop and then go over it and all the way through. And they kept the lower speed after that, even after the third one down the hill and everything else. I thought, that's good.
Yeah, no, they're very effective speed reduction.
Yeah, we're talking about Skunk Hollow.
No, I mean, sorry to.
Excited.
Okay, just in case that wasn't caught on audio, Amy made a motion to approve the study and Catherine seconded it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
You.
Oh, here we are back in Jericho Center. All right. Review and consider approval of a block party on the green, September 13th. Laura Oliver.
I'm here in place of. Hello, everyone. My name is Ben Hodgson. I live on Boulder Hill Road. So I sent through a little document.
Yep.
Your part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You all have it or?
Yes.
Yep, we
Okay.
can
all have it.
So I made copies, but I guess that one. Okay.
I think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm on the Jericho Center Preservation Association, from, I guess, winter, fall. And, yeah, one of the meetings, it just came up that one of the things that the JCPA used to do was to organize a block party. And so I think COVID and other things kind of dismantled that tradition and just change things. So we've decided to try to revive it. I think one thing to clarify from on the agenda is called a block party. I mean, that's the spirit, but it's not a block party in the sense that it's not like that localized. The idea is for it to be a town party. And probably people from beyond, depending on type of musical acts that are able to be recruited, which is still in progress. But so it's not an exclusive thing in any way, shape, or form, but certainly it's about Jericho Town.
But community.
Exactly. So the proposal is to hold this event on Saturday, September 13th, starting at 2 p.m., ending at 7 on the Jericho Center Green. No rain date, just because it's too confusing and we're not gonna try to reorganize everything. If it rains, the proposal is to take it inside, do as much as we can in the community center. The agenda is still being finalized, but we have a few musical acts lined up. Other activities will be on offer. You can see some of them there on the map. Lawn games, kids STEM activities. I think we're gonna have Laura herself doing some tie dyeing, a pie / bake sale, and a scavenger hunt, which Catherine will be organizing. We plan to have food. Jericho Center Country Store. Val is gonna sell burgers and dogs. She's gonna set up on the other side, right, so facing the store, but on the green side. And then a couple of food trucks that we're still confirming. I just talked to the taco guy, who unfortunately can't make it. But there's a few other candidates out there.
Did you get that broccoli guy?
Yeah.
Good.
The broccoli, yeah, the pangolin one is incredible and you don't have other vegetarian options, so I'm voting for that one. But
Noted.
I didn't see in here where you wanted to park the food trucks.
Okay,
If you got
so if you can see right there in the red, that's the idea, is to have the food trucks parked there, kind of just to the south of the library.
Got it.
Yeah, and then porta potties would be south of that. Probably most important for this meeting, although important, of course, for everybody to know what's on hand, what's on offer for the party, but we will be doing some communications once we hopefully implement it. Is around traffic and parking. So the proposal is to close off the southern half of the circle. So basically from the library south to Brown's Trace. That makes sense?
Yeah, that sure does.
Laura Oliver spoke with Lieutenant Corey Lozier, State Police, no problem with closing that portion of the circle.
I had a question about that.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Just
Why
to
did we
avoid-
call state police?
Because it's a town road. Cause
That's safe, please.
yeah,
Right, why would you call the state police
Yeah.
over? Like, I get if it was Route 15 or 117 or,
right,
I was just curious.
yeah,
I think so we formed a little party subcommittee to, starting back in April, to just
Yeah.
kind of plan out, how this should work, and we thought we should speak with police and fire.
Oh.
Just to inform
I
that
was
this
just
is
curious.
gonna happen, and so that, yeah. So that,
yeah, cause I mean, this is where you come to ask to have the road closed,
Right, right, if they said no to close the road, we could still close the road.
right,
In other words, is what I'm getting at, that's all.
Okay.
yeah. And then if you need cones to do so, you know, need to talk to the,
We have a ton
Okay.
of cones with the library.
oh, good, yeah,
Yeah.
that's, so you bought your own cones then for
Yeah.
the, what kind of rain?
Yeah.
Cause you used to loan them out for the road crew.
Yeah.
so that would be beginning at 1:30, closing off that portion of the road. We want to fit as many cars as possible. Maybe, well, we're not clear on how many people are gonna come, right? That's a major limiting factor with their planning.
Sure.
We think that we can fit the majority of people who will come. Of course, we are going to encourage carpooling, bicycling if it's great weather, etc. But the hope is cars can fit in the parking lot behind the church, behind the community center.
Catherine, did you have any issues with the pet parade with overflow? Well,
No, and last year we had a really big attendance at the pet parade and there were at least 300 people and there was no problems with the parking. Everyone kind of fit either on the circle, that part of the circle, or at the community center parking lot.
We would be very happy to get 300 people. I mean, it's 5 hours, so over the course of 5 hours, we'll get that in. We do want to put out a call for volunteers and are hoping to have someone or a couple of people take shifts and help with just making sure people are parking in the right place. We'd like to avoid people parking on Brown Streets. The natural or logical spillover parking would be in the fire department parking lot. Not talked to them yet. It's a little far, but we plan to speak with them soon. Let's see what else. Renting the portalets, you see those on the map. Library bathroom will be open. We'll deal with the garbage and compost. And yeah, following communications, which hopefully once we have a permit, we will start with that.
We ready
Any
for a
questions?
motion?
Oh, I have a couple, I, you know, cause you're talking about getting the green permit and, you know.
Yes.
I was gonna suggest, because it's a big event, to protect yourself, I don't know whether it's in your own, the JCPA insurance, but VLCT, through passive has, single use, reasonably inexpensive insurance to protect you, your liability for big events like that.
Okay, that's good
Since
suggestion.
you wrote the policy.
We had talked about it, and then we considered that it wouldn't be necessary because we were not getting it. We voted against the bouncy castle. Things still go wrong. Also.
Yeah, things can still go wrong, when we wrote the policy for the, you know, I was chaired the committee to write the policy for use of the green, that's one thing we checked on to make sure people, you know, knew about it, because there was always a worry, when there was like a pop-up farmer's market or something that had, you know, used to happen, there were cords in the road and we didn't want people to get hurt.
Mhm.
Or the person who had the cord, you know, get sued or something like that. So we did suggest that if you're going to have a big event, you contact VLCT Passive and see about their festival or whatever they want to call it, liability insurance.
Okay.
At that point, it was like, for, I think it was $1 million, it was like it was like $70, but that was a few years ago.
Okay.
Cause it just protects everybody then, so that they're not, you know, you don't have to worry. Because it's a great idea, you know, to rebuild community, activities like that.
Thank you for the suggestion. Any other recommendations?
I didn't notice a request to cater alcohol in one of our.
No, there's no.
Hey, that's, hey.
Can ask
300
for it.
people.
It sounds like. But there's now no bouncy castle. What is?
Right.
This line, I don't.
Can't please everybody.
Oh, that's funny.
That would be a disaster and we would never be able to do it.
Exactly. And on the other hand, you know, it's a good thing for the ale and being there.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the plan and permit for the Jericho Town Party on September 13th from 2 to 7.
I second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The Jericho Center Green permit.
All right.
Sent for that.
Great, all right, thank you.
Thank you. I think it's a great idea.
Hope to see you all next.
Yeah. All
Thank you.
depends whether we're down in New York. I have a friend who's doing an installation at the brand new hotel down there.
Okay, next on the agenda is to review and consider approval of town reports being picked up at town hall versus mailing due to the exorbitant cost of mailing.
I also like, I mean, we're hoping the PDF, that's good, because.
We always post a PDF. Real quick, before I start, I just noticed before I got here, I looked at, because I was looking at reviewing the town report things, the deadlines, and on the flyers for Town Meeting Reimagine, you say January 23rd, Thursday, but it's a Friday.
Well, that's from last year. It's January 20th we chose as the date.
I thought so, but the ones that Maria sent out to me was last year's stuff.
Yeah, because it was the 20th, because it was one
That's
day,
what I thought
it was
too.
one day after, because because I had passed on to.
Just wanted to clarify. if that-
Yeah, I wanted, because
That's-
you know, once we talked about with our budget, our timing, I passed off to get Gay.
Okay.
And,
Cause I had the 20th too, and then I was looking at these flyers, I'm like, the 23rd.
No, the 20th.
Okay.
I'm confused what you're asking about. Last year or this year?
This coming year, the 20th is a Tuesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the flyers that Maria sent out
right now,
just on August 7th, she sent something out. She sent an email out saying it doesn't look like my original email sent, trying to send this again. And then they were all the flyers and the, like the lawn.
That was, okay, that was for last year. She did that for me because I was asked to talk about Jericho's process at an event.
Oh, she CC'd me and I'm like, I'm lost with these things.
I sent out an email saying, I'm looking to put together some slides.
Yep, I saw that.
Does anybody have the publicity we used last year?
That makes total sense now.
So she sent that back with all that stuff on it.
Okay,
That
perfect.
was just about last year.
Good. Yeah, so
so you're shopping your ideas around. That's great.
Well, we weren't shopping it around. They
came and seeked her.
Came and said, we hear Jericho's doing something. So,
I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
so it was interesting. It was interesting to hear what other towns are trying to think.
If they copy us, they need to
Like that?
kick a little dollars, you know, a little. Probably
Then we
right.
would have to pay Middlesex. I mean.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's good.
Stocksbury.
Come in.
Yeah, I just like.
Yeah, I know.
bring it in.
And something Jericho.
I'm still mad with that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Actually, it was really fun when they saw the signs and stuff. We went, oh, that's pretty cool.
So what's in front of us is the idea of not mailing the town reports, instead having people come and pick them up if they want. And I have a couple questions. I probably should let everyone else do it first, but I'm not gonna. In the email that you sent, you said, if we choose to mail them, the deadline to be able to get them to people in time to get them for the actual town meeting vote, the ballot vote, that the deadline would be January 19th. But if we chose to have them pick it up, it would be January.
We have to have the proof to the printers by January 19th. If we were to mail out all of the town reports
Okay.
in time for them to get them.
And then if we don't. it
If we
is-
don't mail them out, then we can submit our proof on January 26th.
Okay, so here's my question. Thank you for clarifying that. If we include the piece that Peter really wants to include,
Yeah.
which I agree with,
Yeah.
is somebody says, we provide some way for them to say, I'd like mine in the mail.
Yeah.
Do we have to do the 19th
No,
or do we have to do the 26th?
No, we do if, that's afterwards, right? If somebody calls us up and says, hey, can you mail me a town report after
Okay.
they get done?
Okay.
Yes,
So
we
so
can
so the
certainly send it.
26th, the 26th would still be valid for that.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I need.
and I think that's because they're concerned about how slow the mail is from the printers to.
They're really worried
It's-
about the delivery, yeah, and the cost is gonna go up. Like, this is our last year under our 2-year contract with them. So next year, we would see a huge hit. And a lot, I don't wanna say a lot, but we know towns have been, she has told us, Mary from Repro has said a lot of towns are going to that, like just having them at the town hall. People coming in and picking them up. We do have it online, a PDF online on our website. And if anybody calls, we can certainly mail them out a copy.
To see if they come to the town hall, that meets the criteria of how many days before town meeting the town reports are available. But, and so you can just mail them out yourself then. And because you've already, hit the statute.
Can we make sure if we pass this that we're posting on both, Front Porch Forum and Jump in Jericho, that like, hey, they're here, and so that we're very clear about that. That's my only concern. is that a certain segment of folks who may not be as savvy don't know how to get it.
They're gonna be expecting it in the mail and they're not gonna get it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's a good point. What do we do about those people?
Because there really is a big change.
They're
Well,
not just gonna swing by and the fictional person I'm thinking of isn't on Front Porch Forum. Like, do we need to send us something that says, should we send out, like, how much does it cost to send out a flyer, like a little card that says, here's and like, you could even put like a little, a little QR code, not that the person I'm thinking of is gonna be.
QR code in the PDF.
That way you get the PDF, right?
That says, like, how much would it
Or
cost
we
if it
could
just said, you could
discuss it
stop
at
by,
town
you
meeting
could call.
reimagined too. We could have that, letting people know about that too.
Well, we
It's
also,
both
I mean,
kickoffs.
we talked with Paula about, we're planning to do a postcard to everybody prior to the kickoff.
Yep.
And a postcard to everybody prior to the January meeting.
Include that in there.
That we could include.
That would
Let-
make me happy.
let's do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would make me happy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because every time you make a change to something that's been going on for a very, very long time, there are people who get lost. Because they're not expecting that kind of change.
It's gotta help you.
Does this mean we can print last copy?
That's the other thing we were talking about today is we mail out a little over 2,100 town reports.
And eight of
What
them
would
get written.
be, yeah, right? What would be a good number to have here?
I would worry about cutting the number back too soon, because you don't know how many people are gonna actually come and pick it up, but once you have at least one data point, you can go, oh, well, they can go to
So
half.
go with the 2,100 and then,
Yeah, or, maybe drop it a little bit, but, yeah,
can't imagine 2,100 people are gonna show up here.
no.
me neither.
I don't either.
Me neither, yeah.
But somebody could swing in and grab 6.
Exactly,
Cause we're just gonna have them out.
yeah.
We might find out what other towns are doing. If you're saying other towns have done this.
Yeah, other
Like-
towns just put them out and they,
Then the question, maybe somebody, maybe VLCT would tell you, you don't need.
Because I would like the first year to do the number that we usually do, because somebody could pick up 6, but if you find that you have, 700 left over.
Yeah.
then you go, okay, I know.
Maybe they need to be like somewhere visible so people aren't just grabbing a stack. Sorry, I mean.
No, it's okay. I'm spitballing. I think you're absolutely right. What you just said got my mind though. Is there an opportunity, and maybe it's not this year, maybe it's in the future, of doing something like, hey, we've got a bunch of 7 days stands that are in like JCAT and the grocery store. Is there an opportunity to have a stack of them there?
Yeah.
Because that's where I would pick mine up. I would.
That's a great idea.
Right.
So.
Because a lot of people could go grocery shopping and not think about coming to town hall.
Exactly. And then that's a longer hours and all
Yeah,
of that stuff. So
that's a great idea.
yeah, that'd be.
Which means we do need the 2,100.
Yeah. I think we should have 2,100 this year and next year. Let's see
Okay.
how we do.
It makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, that's a
That
great
sounds good.
idea, because it gets much more distribution.
Not gonna happen without a motion though.
Well, I would like a motion to no longer mail out our read right off of you. So I would like to make a motion to approve the town reports being picked up at town hall versus mailing and include a right for citizens to request that a report be mailed to them.
And I like that idea, Amy. We could probably take a pile to, you know, a bunch to JCAT, maybe the Jericho Center store, maybe the libraries.
Both libraries
Libraries
have
in
them.
particular.
And I think, I mean.
Because a lot of-
either, like I can take 50 of them over to JCAT. and
Right.
drop them off.
Yeah, because like the Russell and stuff has all the tax forms and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Yeah.
town report could be there.
Good idea.
That's a good idea. So you get second.
Laura seconded it. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, moving right along.
Give her an update on the meeting reimagine when updates come. To see where she's at. But yes, go ahead with it.
Yeah, she's not on the agenda, but so you're.
Okay, give an update.
That's to come.
Okay. All right, well, we've still got a lot of things. They're probably a little faster though.
Yeah.
Okay. Next is review and consider approval of DJ's tree service to remove the ash trees on Schillhammer Road. This came up before. I asked you to get 2 more bids.
Yep.
or
Another bid,
Get more
another
bids.
quote.
You got another quote. The other quote was higher.
So I make a motion to,
Wait, I got one question.
Okay.
Who gets the wood?
Gosh, you know what?
I think they just chew it up.
They do chew it up.
I don't
You
like
want the wood?
I
Chris
would-
wants the
I would love
wood.
it, but I would say we should give it. to
Well, you could try wood for good. It all depends if they're a dead tree, it's not a good ash. If it's dead, I think they have to.
Well, once you cut them down, it kills them.
Yeah. Of course it is dead. But it gets real brittle if the tree is dead to start.
Well, I don't think.
So nice. It's
But
great.
I
Oh,
think,
does it?
Yeah.
well, I think, aren't they infected, so you can't transport them?
It doesn't matter anymore because
Yeah.
they're everywhere.
Huh?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that either.
You can?
I mean, they probably still say no, but.
They say no.
It's
Yeah,
literally
sure.
everywhere.
Why don't we?
But you can't transport them, I think, outside of a certain radius, even if you, but like, I'm just suggesting that it goes to wood for good.
Let's ask Wood for good if he'll take it.
Oh, they,
personally, right?
well, okay.
Wait, that's the thing, if it's infected and if you can't go, I don't know how they distribute,
Right, that's.
but yeah, but I would be.
Well, that's true, because they do have a fairly wide distribution.
And it's- they go everywhere now,
Yeah.
so,
Okay.
all right.
Yeah,
Now-
okay, now can I make the rest, I recommend that we engage DJ's tree service to cut down the removal of ash trees on Schillhammer Road, as well as the assorted other dead trees for the bid of $24,300.
Motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes. Review and consider approval of a compactor, and we got that rental for the highway department.
What kind of compactor?
I know, we didn't reach trash compactor every single time.
Exactly.
Like, I'm like.
It's one of
does
those that
actually
pack
say-
down on the ground, that pack the dirt and.
Oh,
Yeah,
a dirt smusher.
yeah, smusher. I like that.
It's a technical term.
Smusher, yeah, yeah. And I know that you are not a big fan of having these little things on here, but that's, it's over $5,000, so.
No, that's okay. I don't mind that. That's Peter. Peter
Oh,
wanted you to be able to.
maybe-
Like, deal with it, so I don't.
That's what I said this week.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Um,
Yes, so they did get a couple other quotes. One was 6,000, the other was 7,000, and this is 5,499.
And so it's, they determined it's much more cost effective than.
Then you lease, renting it. Yep.
So they're gonna get at least 54 uses out of this, is what you're telling me.
Or yes.
Let's hope so. All right, I recommend that the highway department, be able to purchase a compactor for $54.99 from.
That rental.
GotThatRental.com.
I second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Trash smusher, I mean.
You cannot have a garbage
I
compact.
know. Okay, review the delinquent dog list. I did not review it, but I did review the letter and the sample warning, but I'm sick of talking first. You guys talk first.
This warrant is so aggressive.
The second one or the first?
It is. The warrant.
Warrant is so
The
aggressive.
warrant is aggressive.
It is, I mean, but it's just, it's meant to scare people.
Yes. I guess ever killed the dog?
No.
Okay.
No.
Feels better.
Yeah, there's,
From the state or?
yeah, so here's what I was gonna say. There is zero chance that I'm gonna
Yep.
sign that first one that has the attachment of the second one.
Yeah.
So, no way. If we can update the first one to just get rid of the words attachment, let me just read it.
The letter? Or the warrant?
So in the letter, it says a warrant is attached.
Yes,
So my
okay, I
my
got it.
proposal is to remove the language that says a warrant is attached.
You having this discussion, Jessica?
No, I don't.
Didn't we already send a letter?
Although I did stop into, because I got my dog's rabies shot today and I always just stop by on the way back so I don't forget, but she wasn't and Megan was there, so.
Okay, so when, without issuing a warrant, you're gonna take out that last sentence. Is there another one?
So it says, yeah,
For the last line, for your reference, we have attached a sample copy of the warrant.
Yes, so you want that taken out and we're not doing a warrant.
I'm not saying that we won't ever do a warrant.
I get
I'm
it.
just saying the first letter, I don't want to hear about
This is
this.
the first letter.
This is the second letter.
Second letter.
The second letter always gets a warrant.
Yes.
Because
We've done a letter in June.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
we approved that in
So
June.
this is number 2.
Yeah, and it's always been, you have to do the warrant on this one, or not have to, but it's to scare people.
Yeah, I don't like it, but
Yeah, I'm not signing it. You have it written directly from me. I'm not doing that. So I would say, here's what would make me willing to sign it. You can
Oh,
just
sign
leave
it.
the warrants. They don't have to know what the warrant's gonna say. Right? Like, just leave that first part. We hope to resolve this matter without issuing a warrant and then get rid of the second part.
Yep. Okay.
That's how I would be okay, and I would probably say aye if the motion were to be filed that didn't include just that last sentence and did not attach that second warrant.
You don't want to be the dog killer though?
No.
None of us do.
The amount of things that would have to happen before I would kill a dog if they did that.
Never. No.
Like,
That
Yeah.
dog would have to like.
Right, I mean, that's already gonna happen, right? Like through the other means, so yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah, it would,
I don't.
I can understand.
Hey, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Your name's on it, you wanna?
Do this every.
Why don't we put the warrant in bold?
Mhm.
Without saying what it is?
I wouldn't do that.
This is what I wanna sign, yeah.
Yep,
You're gonna
Yes.
write it though.
yep.
I can't just sign it with.
Right, I should write in fact.
They'll be like, I see what they were gonna say.
No, I
No,
wasn't.
that's exactly.
I was gonna copy and paste. That's what I was gonna do. Okay, so make a motion.
That one, Eric?
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the dog owner letter.
With corrections or
With corrections of removing the last sentence that says, for your reference, we have attached a sample copy of the warrant. And not include the warrant in the mail submission.
I think that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Maybe I've just ignored it other years because it's like, oh, it's not my name on there, but.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It's always been there, yeah. But we've
Okay.
never, ever did a dog, even one who had been complaining that who was, would have been.
Well,
Hope we never have to.
I know.
okay, so now we just need a motion. You guys, are you good with the liquor ones? Okay, go ahead.
I would like to propose a motion to approve the request to cater for Griffin Riders on September 13th, 20th, 26th, and 27th, and waterfront yogurt and sandwiches at Mansfield Barn on September 6th.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Sorry,
Aye.
there was,
Yeah,
I missed a second. Laura seconded, all
Yeah,
those in favor say
Laura
aye.
Aye.
Nice job, I messed up on that one.
I had asked Gay to come over just to kind of give a little update on town meeting reimagined, just from what meetings that they've had and just kind of get a little bit more sense of where we are and how we're gonna move forward.
Okay,
You don't have to.
so wherever you want.
Yeah, I'm really here, I guess I'll give you, we've broken down into a couple of categories. One is publicity, one is the voting process, one is technology, and one is dealing with public questions, beyond the budget itself. Which really didn't come up that much last year, because there weren't public questions. There weren't even, the questions about alleviating the tax, something like the community center.
Yeah.
We did talk, Dave and I met with Paula, and I mentioned, sending those two mail to everybody, those postcards. And we're beginning to work on, the kickoff meeting is coming up, so I've seen drafts, I'm not a committee, but I've seen I know drafts are in the works. We are focusing, we did look at different spaces, we are focusing on the high school and the library, and we have talked to my question about the request to have risers, not for the September meeting, but for the, the January meeting, so that, and, he's had other priorities, we haven't nailed that down yet, but he does know that it's something we want to do. The voting process, is something that really, requires, or the group working on that came back with a recommendation. If you recall, the speed issue is the motion that last year was passed by a fairly narrow vote.
About as narrow as you can get, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, and it also, and in a way, it was a kind of a gift of like, yeah, you have to figure this out.
Yeah.
Because
Totally, yep.
there were a number of things about the voting that were awkward, and part of it was realizing, oh, we are all sort of looking around the room. And when half the voters aren't in the room, how do you get a sense of credibility that what you're perceiving in your brain is actually consistent with what the count comes back as? So some stuff we're working on is just how do you, we talked about that with you before, that we want to be able to figure out how to have the slides on one screen and some kind of a thing so people can see that there are a bunch of people online participating. And and also by using the library, our hope is that we have less distance between folks in the back of the auditorium and people, that people are that the whole thing will feel more like one between the people who are participating in a hybrid manner and the people who are there in person. When the moderator comes to the point of saying, all in favor, he's always had 3 steps to it. One is get a sense of the room, sort of all in favor, say aye, and it's really clear. Like the all in favor, say aye on paying the select board more. That was really clear. There wasn't A lot, there wasn't dissent, we didn't argue about it for a long time, there were questions, but once it came to a vote, you really didn't have to go much further. But if it isn't clear, there's yays and nays that maybe, it sounds like a shouting match more than you have a real clear sense of numbers, then somebody would call for a division, and at that point you count. The hard part with hybrid is that sense of the room, because you can't have an audio version of that for people who are online, because the audio, people are knocking each other out. So that's the thing that they're working on, is in that first step, is there a way to create something that gets the sense of the room? And our thinking is to use some kind of polling for that. And that's what they're working on, is low cost, low tech version of, getting a poll. And so if everyone's clearly vote, and then for the people in the room, it would still be we would go back to using an audio version. And if it's not clear, then we go to counting. And in the counting, we're talking about things like, one, we need to know who you are. If you're voting online, you need to give us your name. We ask that we haven't nailed this all down, but the kinds of things we're talking about are, you need to have your video on so we can see. We're going to assume it's one person in the Zoom, unless we see that there are two. If you want us to count you as two voters, you need to have two of you. We need to see you.
So would you say it's time to vote, turn your videos on, and then they can turn them off if they'd like, something like that? Yeah.
And the other thing we learned from last year is that the pace of doing a vote online is a lot slower.
We're gonna take more time. Yep,
So,
absolutely.
Even though we have a moderator for the online folks to connect with, that last year was Maria, we're hoping she'll do it again. And she had some other people also, sort of as helping. And we will do that again, but she had a hard time communicating with Dave, but you're just going too quickly, because you gotta get people to okay, we got all the eyes, now put your hands down.
That's true,
Now
some
we're
people
gonna
forget
ask
to put the
little hand down,
little hand thing, yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping that goes a little more smoothly, because you can, the host of the Zoom can just click a button and lower all hands, right? So we could do okay, hands up for this vote, leave them up, leave them up, leave them up, okay. You've got 2 more seconds to get them up to be counted, and then you count them, and then you hit a button and they're all gone. And then they,
Can you hit a button?
If you get 2 people,
all of them
all
at one time?
right now, yeah.
Okay.
but remember, it's not, a lot of people are just going like this.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to do this too, yeah.
Yeah, they're not all using that technology.
I know. Yeah.
And you have a husband and wife, or wife and wife, husband and husband. If you're 2 people in a Zoom box, then they have to use a video. They're not going to.
It might behoove us to have an intro to Zoom at the beginning of these too, because I do think that was, I always think about this, how I would explain it to my 80-year-old mother, and she would have had a difficult time with that. I completely understand. So it might have been hey, this isn't hey, nice to see you. It's a raising your hand technology.
Yeah, we're trying, we are, we totally agree. And the other piece of that is helping people understand the what is it called, closed captions.
Yeah.
Because people had a hard time hearing, but some people knew to turn on closed captions, so they could just read along. They didn't need
That's true. The AI companion is going to be a lot more useful by then.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Also, before I lose it, with your polling software, I highly recommend you look at Mentimeter, Mentimeter. It's something that I've used many times for large conference style things, and I know it might be a little more tech savvy, but it's literally, you can have it up on your phone or online and click a yes, no button, get that general feeling. It might be helpful.
I've been at events when that was being used.
Yeah, I like that a lot, and it's pretty, so,
Oh, cool.
you know. I'm a sucker for that.
What's it called again?
Mentimeter,
Menti?
MENTI.
Yeah, then, those are the kinds of conversations we've had. We talked about last time, you know, our recommendation to you is, and this came up in the event that where people were asking about what's Jericho doing. We emphasized that basically what makes this work in Jericho is trust between the select board and the voters. That the select board committed that we want to listen to what the voters are doing, are saying, and listen to them and adjust the draft budget that we present to voters. Based on what their recommendations are, and that we're going through all this as a kind of moderated select board meeting. It's not an official town meeting.
Right.
Um,
It is an
and-
interesting point because you have a new select board
I know,
than you had last year, and you'll have another new one, right? You'll
Right.
have a new one every year.
Right.
With a lot more turnover potentially than is normal. So each select board has to kind of, all right, are we gonna do this? Because someday they might not. You might get enough people on here that don't like this approach and go like, no, we're either all in or we're all out. We're either doing town meeting or we're doing full on ballot. And so
yeah,
that's
well,
that's
the
a
thing
good,
is, the bind you're in is you are operating under a set of motions that the voters approved.
Right.
So, because a lot of people say to us, you should just go to full on Australian ballot, or you should go back to town meeting, and we say to them, actually, we can't do either of those things, because the voters of Jericho approved that we were gonna have this process. So it's,
And that was an official town meeting.
that was an official town meeting where people had the opportunity to amend. Because that was not.
yeah, I don't want to get technical about it, but they also approved something that doesn't have legal, you know what I mean? So like, I get it, but you're right. The point is, the select board throughout the years are gonna have to remain until Vermont catches on and does something really similar and makes that part of whatever, right? And for now, we're just agreeing, we're gonna treat it as such, and
Right, well, the reason I brought it up is the other thing is that our recommendations were sort of to remind you that if there was something like what ended up happening last year, that a standalone, the motion where the vote wasn't really clear, and it was a fairly substantial amount. Within your authority, you'd still be listening to the voters. I don't think you'd break this promise to what we've said. If you were to put that on the ballot as a separate item.
Right.
You could say, shall the voters of Jericho approve a budget of X?
Right.
And then the next item, the next could be, shall the voters of Jericho also approve an additional expenditure of X?
Especially if
Our
close calls or
yeah, we kind of came up with some initial, is kind of before you guys came on, but like, and we've maybe talked about it some since you've been on, but having like, we haven't come up with exactly, but we're gonna go into the meeting with some sort of understanding of if it's over X and the vote spread is over Y, then we're just gonna have this understanding that, okay, that's a pretty clear, that's a
Right.
ballot,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, our feeling is if we do that with everything, then we've kind of really undermined the whole sense of coming to a consensus and having the voice of the group. whatever you-
Right.
But that was an unusual amendment that we were voting on, and so it provided a good example of.
Right, it was probably in a way, I don't mean to
Right.
make fun of it, but it was like the worst case scenario, which is good to happen in your first year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So the last piece is the public questions, and I believe there are a couple of public questions that are actively, being circulated in Jericho and Underhill. So our conclusion from last year was we should give the public the process of how do you, what is a public question? How do you put it forward? What is it used, what might it be for? We should emphasize that at the kickoff meeting. So because there really isn't time in a meeting that starts at 6 o'clock at night, to do both the budget plus a long, if it's a typical budget in Jericho anyway, to do that plus a long conversation about, public policy in the Middle East or, whatever. So, and part of that process could be, somebody, I don't remember, it was Paula or Jessica asked us, if there's a public question that is put on the ballot by 12% of the voters, shouldn't that could come up at the that could be just, come up at the information session, and the select board wouldn't be able to answer questions about it because they didn't put it on the ballot. The select board, if it was a public question about should we tax the community center or not, that would come from the select board. But if it was about public policy in the Middle East or wind or, anti-wind, that isn't something that would come from the select board. So how do people get information about that? So anyway, giving you an update, those are the kinds of things we've been talking.
Because if it, has the right number of petitioners, I mean, it's an automatic that we would put it on town meeting warning.
Right.
But you're right, there isn't
But they
anybody
still need to
talk
have
about it then.
Right. So what would that process look like? If there is there a requirement, I guess that's a question. Does that requirement that within 10 days or whatever the window of time is, 20 days before the town meeting vote, the select board has to have an information meeting? Is that just about the budget?
No, I mean, it would be,
It's
the warning itself.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it would be.
But
It includes the budget.
includes the budget.
It includes a budget, I
That's
guess that, but
that's
does it
right.
also include these public, say there was a public question about,
Well, I mean, because, like a regular town meeting, people would have had the discussion on, do you, issue a warrant for the arrest of, Bush when he, showed up in town or something like that. But, what we do for like the fire department when, because that's a separate line item, the fire department talks about it, so we could have the people who initiated the petition talk about their question.
they could come to that information session.
Yeah, and I think that's the best way to handle it.
Yeah, okay, that's okay.
Thank you. Sounds like we're pretty well aligned.
That's kind of what we're talking about.
So it seems like though that they would need an answer before that kickoff of like.
On what?
Of like the percentage or like $10,000 or if you
Right.
owe 10,000.
No, I
I
think,
don't think so. We
I-
actually chose not to have a recommendation about a specific amount.
Oh,
I think we need that going into the,
you guys,
we need
okay,
it going
And have a long
into the,
conversation among.
Sure.
Right.
Okay,
But yeah, I don't think we need that. We
Okay.
can explain that.
okay.
you could just say they will likely have some threshold, right? So it's like a $200 thing. We're not,
Right,
pass it by
right,
one
right,
vote, it's
yeah.
probably gonna go. If it's a
Yeah.
$30,000 thing and it
Right.
only passes by 4%
Or one vote.
maybe that,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
come up with some pretty good
Yeah,
guidelines that have us, that will,
I think we.
because like, if it's 40%, if it's 40,000, there's gonna be some limit that we're not
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
increase it by, but let's say it's 40,000 and 100% of the people vote for it, then we'll be like, I guess we're probably just gonna do it, and then it
Right.
goes in the budget and,
I think you probably link it to like percentage of the budget overall, so like if it's more than 5% of the total budget, then like that
percentage
needs to
is a
go.
good way to do
Cause
it.
then
yeah.
like, we don't have to deal
right,
with
exactly.
who's in the room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, it's.
The problem with that is the percentages would be pretty small, right? Like 1% is 40,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'd be like, all right, with more than 1/4%,
Yeah,
it
I see.
you're getting into some small numbers that get a little confusing, but I like where you're going with it, but.
Yeah. And it is trying not to take the budget and break it in a zillion pieces. And the whole point is to keep the power of the people who are participating in the voting, that they have a say. It's sort of, Duxbury actually calls it have a say day, have your say day.
Well, that's a good.
And that's kind of what it is. It's like, this is your chance. If we're, the advice we got was you're constantly balancing access. What is participation, meaningful participation in town meeting about? It's, you want to be access, you want to have as many people there as possible. That's the quantity. But then you also want to have a meaningful role. And that those two are what we're constantly balancing. And when you have in-person town meeting, that's harder to get to, but you sure have a meaningful role.
Yeah.
When you go to the Australian ballot, lots of people can get there, but all you can say is yes or no. So anyway, that's.
Do you have a sense of how many people total on Zoom and in person? Or that's the last one?
There are 114. It was a little over it wasn't the smallest town meeting. It was, I don't know if it was actually right in front of me, but I think it was like 100.
150 or something like that.
Just 115. I think it's 115. The other thing is, though, what I had not considered is when you added in also the people who live streamed it
right
on community access TV and the people who watched it before the vote, then it was 250.
Oh, wow.
And when you had an information meeting, it was 2. And I talked with someone who live streamed it, and I said, well, why did you do it that way as opposed to Zoom? And she's, I said, you couldn't speak up. You were in a passive role. She goes, yeah, but I listened to the whole debate. I really got it. But
that's
came to the vote, having heard what the debate was.
Yeah.
And if she really wanted to say something, she could have linked in by Zoom. So anyway, that was.
So yeah, 250 is kind of a nice number. Yeah, it was a typical sort of.
The town meeting average is something like 140.
But sometimes it was up to 300 and another, you're right. But that's when it was a lot of activity.
Thanks, Kay.
Thank you, Gay.
Thank you. That's great information.
I was at Gay's presentation at the summit, and people were so impressed with what Jericho had done.
Oh, how nice.
Fast, that's awesome.
How nice.
Yeah,
We're willing to do consults, but you're gonna have to pay. Gonna have to pay. We'll pick a wastewater system and.
Will you town trap?
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks.
Thank you for your work.
Thank you for your work.
Oh, now we're doing other updates.
Other updates.
I don't have too much. Just a reminder that on Saturday, like everybody else in the world in this Jericho area, is having an event from 10 to noon. But on Saturday, the 23rd, it's a reception for the artists who have participated in the Trails and Pathways art. And then if anybody is going to go to the Champlain Valley Fair, they're sponsored by the Essex Energy Committee. They're having a booth at the Champlain Valley Fair, and it's being volunteered by members of the various energy committees in Chittenden County. And they're talking about, energy savings and all kinds of different issues. And we'll try to answer any question you might have to have. That's mine. Because otherwise, August is vacation month for lots of other organizations.
Yeah. I don't have any updates. You got any updates?
One for me.
Wow, look at that, flying right along without Peter here.
That's right.
Warrants, we've got the minutes. Any updates on the minutes, Catherine? Or
Yeah.
any of you, I suppose, but.
Yeah, but this one is pretty straightforward. It starts at 289. Otherwise everything was pretty good. I think at 289, because there are 2 Peters in that paragraph,
I did notice that. I almost wrote it down and I thought, well,
But I said this, 289, that Peter, it's probably better to clarify which Peter it was who said that.
right, so it says, so see, it starts out, Peter Booth asked Peter, so you know, but then as you're further down, it says Eric asked if we are proposing to go back to the line before it was drawn. Peter, it probably should just say Peter Ehrlich.
Yeah,
said.
you really should.
So asked Peter Ehrlich.
No, it's,
Peter E. said he
yeah,
didn't think
so
so.
right, the new sentence starts out with the word Peter,
Yep. Oh, okay.
just
There.
add his name there
Yeah.
for an E.
Okay.
Because I figured it was Peter
Okay.
E. as well, but you know, it was better. And then again, in 298, the same thing. Eric's, you know, very supportive, etc., but it seems reasonable that Peter and Sarah, and then agreed, but then Peter said he's in support of this. Sounds like that's Peter Booth.
Peter said he's in support of this, so Peter. Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
That's a good call. Yeah, I saw that and I wondered if it would be confusing and I'm like, it's
Yeah.
probably not, but
It-
it might as well.
If somebody's not really that in the weeds, right? And then on 330, there were 330 and 429, the motion was seconded, but not by who?
30.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I probably couldn't hear it. You know, one issue with having more people on the board is that it can be really hard sometimes to tell who seconded a motion. I may not be able to see. Someone might just sort of mumble it in the background. So if you want that in the minutes all the time, you probably should try to make sure somebody says out loud the name of the person who seconded.
Yeah, I noticed that a couple times tonight and tried to do that, but you're right, I probably need to do that going forward.
Is saying.
Yeah, because 429 is the same thing.
429. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll have to look at the video and
Yep.
see if you can tell and
Yep.
do your best.
Yeah.
Yep.
There, my name is spelled right in most places except for line 70. Line 70A, it's some other Eric,
Some other area.
so.
Isn't it? Well, I think that's what happens is that that's where AI and, or, you know, the automatic checking is.
But even people, like, I'll watch them type and I'll be like, yeah, my name's Eric, ERIK, and I watch their fingers and they go, it's just, you know, they just do it, so it's not, no one's doing it intentional.
My whole life, like, oh, Amy K and starts with a C. It's like, no, go back, do it again.
Yeah.
Doing it again. I empathize completely.
Well, and Catherine's, is it A or is it C?
That's true. That's true.
But then, you know, I like, you know, Catherine, you know, they don't have.
Do we have any guests tonight?
Ruler.
Do we need to approve the minutes? Is that?
Yes, we do with corrections as noted.
Yes. I would like to pass a motion to approve the minutes with corrections as noted.
I'll second.
Amy made a motion to approve the minutes, Catherine seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Does that work, Donna?
Yep, that was great. Thank you.
The trick is gonna be getting me to remember.
Doing that
every time. Yeah,
That's right.
okay.
We have an executive session.
Do you?
Unless you have one. Do we need one?
She didn't need one, I don't.
You don't need one? I don't think I need one.
Okay, I'm waiting on one more motion then.
Who wants to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second that motion.
Laura makes a motion to adjourn the meeting, Amy seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Great.